Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to our second episode of State of the Auxiliary. Quay, we are back, episode 2. Can you believe it already?
I can definitely believe it.
Man, it seems like I don't even know how we got here. Episode 2 already. Like, I'm excited. I don't know what to think. Like, I'm overjoyed. I mean, the conversations have been hitting. People have been tapping into those conversations since last week. We're definitely going to pick up that torch and run with it some more because we have some things to get into. It's about to be a time. I know a time is going to be had. What do you think?
I,
Wait a minute now. Quay got on her crop top, baby, like she's about to get out there on the field and hiya.
had to represent. Had to represent for the girls.
Yes, come on for the girls. She's giving motion. Come on. All right, baby. Come on. I'm here for it. Baby, the people are tuning in and we are ready to get started, guys. We're not going to delay what we need to get done today. We want to say hello to our Instagram family, the Passion and Performance underscore Instagram family. We want to give hey to the Passion and Performance YouTube channel. And we want to give hello and welcomes to the Passion and Performance Facebook channel. We are officially live on those 3 pages. Only if you caught us anywhere else last week, we will not be doing that. We're only going to be streaming from the official Passion in Performance pages. So welcome. You can see Passion in Performance behind Quay. I'm rocking the State of the Auxiliary. We're hitting both sides of it. So we're going to be giving it to you. We can't wait. We have a great guest in the back waiting to come talk and share and pour out unto you today, as well as a lot of topics to get into tonight. And we cannot wait to have our guests weigh in on some of the things we're going to get into tonight. So I hope y'all are ready for State of the Auxiliary. We're going to talk about just quickly, what do you think, Quay? I mean, from last week to this week, with the basketball games, with everything that's going on, what do you feel like our State of the Auxiliary is this week? Because you know it's an ever-changing thing. Some people think State of the Auxiliary is a one-time thing. It changes weekly.
Well, honestly, me being honest, I haven't seen any of the basketball footage, so I'm a little excited to see that. Okay. But I know that we're going to be tapping in on some of the things we talked about last week. So can't wait to get our guest's perspective on that. And honestly, don't know which way we're going to go, but I know it's going to be good. So
man, look, the conversation is always good. And I know that we're going to give what needs to be gave because that's what we do. We give what needs to be gave. All right. So guys, you know, I've watched a little bit of basketball game footage. I know I saw a little bit of motion in action and they looks good. I mean, they looks good. I can't give anything from that. The count selection was good. You know, they had, you know, basic basketball pep rally type uniforms, but the footage I saw, good job motion, loved it. I did see a little bit of the Stingettes cohesiveness this week, out the park. I mean, they were cohesive and they allowed some of the vet and crab dancers to lead. So that was good to kind of see some of the future of what the Stingettes may be bringing in the seasons to come, because we know the Stingettes are always a toss-up. We never know which way they're going to
go. I honestly like when they let everybody lead because it's like you get a sense of, you know.
Yes, I've noticed a lot of teams are doing that in this day and age. They are allowing their team members, the line members, to lead in the spring. I noticed that a lot more teams are doing that at the football game. You know, maybe they're veterans or those who are about to graduate off the line usually get the lead either a round or a song or a game or something like that. So I see that becoming more popular in today's culture, where it was only maybe a few teams that did that in the most past, in, you know, in the early 2000s, 90s. So you do see a lot of changing happening, more people allowing us to see those who were not captain be able to lead and see what they could have possibly brought to the table, which is always a good thing because you never know what somebody can do. You know, we don't know what your leadership is like, but we always wonder, what would the team look like behind this person or that person or whatever?
Right.
Will this person have thrown counts? How, you know, so it kind of helps us understand a little bit of what they possibly would have brought to the table. And I think it's always good to see that in retrospect. Also, Also, I got to see Jackson, and Jackson has been, look, I don't know what's been in the water with the Mississippi, and we know they have had some water issues, but whatever they is getting in that water right now, baby, Jackson has been on like super swole mode. Like, I don't know what they're going through, but baby, that the sets have set it out this year, and I'm excited to see who and what and how they're going to elevate this next year, because I mean they have left us really with our mouth like this all year.
Yeah, this year they have had a great season from the merge all the way up until the basketball games. So they haven't left a mark where they haven't missed a beat. And then, they had the Super Bowl performance. So I really think that was like grand for them. They've had all these opportunities. And I think I love that for them. So can't wait to get into them either.
I cannot, and I know there's more teams to come. I mean, that's just some of the footage I got to see. And just going back, looking at last week, with our guest host, Nico and Felicia. I mean, the conversation was so authentic. There were so many little nuggets and gems that I think came out of that conversation that I've been trying to take little clips and clip them and put them out there. And I mean, the feedback, the likes, people in the comments, just on the clips. I mean, just going at it. I think there's so much rich conversation that, we thought of this idea and it was just kind of we need to do it. And we've been talking about it and finally was like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And I mean, this has been like a year in the making, really. We've been thinking this idea for about a year and sitting on it. And I mean, just to see from episode 1, just the rich conversation that developed out of it, I think it was amazing. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen today, because we got a very special guest we're about to bring to you in just a few minutes. And I cannot wait to see the weigh in of his opinions. I cannot wait. Y'all heard me say he, right? Amen. Because there's a couple of he's out there. I don't know about y'all, but we got a couple of he's out there that's doing the thing in the dance world. And I cannot wait to see what his opinions are going to bring, what his, for y'all to learn a little bit about him and what he brings to the table. Also, what he thinks about the state of auxiliary. I know he has an opinion, and I know he's going to tell us. And I just cannot wait, because I know we're about to get such rich conversation in the midst of what we're about to go. And I don't want to wait, because last week we had to warm y'all up and get into topics. But this week we're about to hit it hard, because we got so many things we want to get into. So I'm not going to delay. Quay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, baby, we ready. All right, so we're going to get into the things. So without further ado, we're going to bring up our first and only guest of the night. We're going to bring up Terrence Johnson. But before I do, I want to give you a quick clip of who and what is Terrence Johnson and the Terrence Johnson Dance Project. All right. So with that, let me share this with you. I'm not going to share the whole clip, but I'm going to give you just a little snippet of it. And then we're going to get into some things. All right. Here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought I had it pulled up. That's my bad. My bad.
Okay.
We working on it. Look, he getting it together. Okay. Here we go. And all right, here we go, guys. I'm sorry about that. Now we're ready. We're ready for the spaghetti. All right.
Peace and light. I am Terrence Johnson, founder and executive artistic director of the Terrence M. Johnson Dance Project, more affectionately known as the TMJ Dance Project. The TMJ Dance Project is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that uses the art of dance to enrich the lives of children and families in historically underserved living communities. Our mission is to create cultural dance experiences that promote community enrichment, art and education, quality dance training, and the experience of live dance performance. We are changing lives one step at a time. It's more than just dance. It's truly liberating art in motion. I created the TMJ Dance Project 4 years ago with the idea of making a community enrichment dance camp for kids in lower income communities. In creating this camp, I went to make a flyer where I wanted to have an image of a little girl of color dancing. And I Googled little girl dancing, and from that Google search, only pulled up little white girls. And so I saw this as an opportunity for representation for children of color in the art of dance on the World Wide Web and beyond. So from there became the birth of the TMJ Dance Project to truly become a space of representation. But as our vision statement says, it's more than just dance. And through that, we have learned that this art has allowed us to be able to shift the lives of so many children and families through social emotional learning, dance and literacy, health and wellness, and so many other facets of this beautiful art form. We thank you for this amazing opportunity to engage, and we look forward to working with many of you in the future. As our vision says, we are changing lives one step at a time. It's more than just dance, it's liberating art and motion.
Yes. It's more than just dance, okay?
Hey.
Brandon, I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. I'm just talking.
I think we were just reading lips at that. We both were like, oh, okay, yeah.
That's it.
I said, so what I said was, y'all, it's not just dance, it's liberating art. So let's give it up for our guest, Terrence Johnson. That is dangerous. Hey, Terrence, we're so happy to have you this week. We're glad
I am so excited to be here. This is absolutely amazing. You two are doing something that's super amazing. It's definitely needed. I like this is so great. I'm so honored that y'all asked me to do this. So like, I'm sitting backstage watching. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm at the Wendy Williams show or like the Oprah Winfrey or whatever, however you want to parallel it. But it's just it's an amazing experience. So I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Terrence, look, there's a lot of people, we know a little bit about you and a lot of bit about you, but there are some people that don't know anything about you. So can you give us a quick rundown of who you are? I mean, the video definitely gave you a welcome. We didn't have to say anything. That video welcomed us on in. But give us a little bit more background about who you are, your background, what do you do, and then lead us into more about TMJ, please.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Terrence Johnson. I'm the founder and executive artistic director of the TMJ Dance Project and the TMJ School of Dance. I'm a native of Alexandria, Louisiana, a graduate of the Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Why'd you do that?
Look, I love my Southern people. I love my Jaguars. My brother is a Juke. I love him to death. But I swear, y'all are brainwashed. In y'all's head, there is no other school but Southern. But I love the school. I love the love that y'all have for your school. I love the love y'all have for your school.
Proud Jag. I actually relocated to Dallas with the dream of becoming the youngest Black CEO. That was my goal. Like, so my undergraduate degree is marketing and concentration in professional sales. And so the summer before I graduated, I had interned with IBM. And so I actually moved to Dallas for a corporate career. I came here and I was assistant vice president in small business banking for Bank of America, where I managed small business portfolios. I then went to IBM and worked in .com sales and distribution. All this made great money, but it was like super boring. And it's just, I just wanted to get back like into dancing and into movement. So I went and enrolled in evening classes, adult classes at the Dallas Black Dance Academy. And after about 2 classes there, the artistic director of the second company, then who was Alan Gartrell, he came and saw me in class and he invited me to take class with the second company. And after that class, I got in the company. And so my whole life began to shift. I did a little bit of trying to do the corporate thing and the artistic thing all together. I tried to balance, working in the day and dancing in the evening. But my thirst and hunger for dance kind of took over. So I left corporate America and took on dancing full time. I danced in the Dallas Black Dance Theater for 2 seasons. I did a season with Dallas Contemporary Ballet. I did a season with the Dallas Opera. I left and did some training at Deeply Rooted in Chicago and Ballet Chicago. I trained with American Dance Festival in New York. The Ailey School in New York, came back to Dallas, got my master's in dance at Texas Women's University. And then from there, that's when I started the TMJ Dance Project. And so, as I said in the video, it started as an outreach project. I had 8 friends. Y'all want to know the real story? Do I have time for the real story?
Give us the real. We always want the real. So go for it.
So I was finishing up grad school and I was getting ready to I had actually auditioned for a company in Philadelphia and I had gotten into the company, but I was going back to um, audition for the company again in June. In that time, like I met someone and I kind of fell in love, and I was like, I don't know if I want to leave Dallas right now. So, but I knew I needed to do something to, make money as an artist and put my name out there. I really was striving to be a choreographer for on the concert stage. And so I was teaching class at the Dallas Black Dance Academy, and I had some friends that were in my class. And I was like, hey, I want to put together this show to give artists who are, freelancing and working in the summer an opportunity to, perform and make some money. And that'll give me an opportunity to choreograph and get my name out there as a choreographer. In the midst of that, I wanted to do a workshop where all the artists could work with kids in the community. So I was trying to create a flyer, a dance flyer saying, hey, here's a free clinic. And I Googled little girl dancing, and there was just no Black girls on there, And again, this partnership was done in collaboration with the South Dallas Cultural Center. So we're talking Dallas zip code 71215, 71210. So, we're really talking inner city communities. So, the idea of representation to engage them has to be present. And so I saw that as a huge issue, especially finishing grad school where we talked about so many dynamics of how dance could be used aside from what we see as its entertainment value. How do we use it to make impact? How do we use it for social change? How do we use it as activism? And so I began to see dance in all of those spaces, primarily philanthropy, because we saw that there wasn't an opportunity for dancers to even engage in the high form of art that we wanted to create. So that's how the TMJ Dance Project started. I did a company for 3 seasons. We've employed professional artists that in Dallas that have gone on to do great things, and then we began to really focus more on the next generation of dance, which is where our school comes into play. And our school is it is a world-class institution of dance that uses it to primarily promote our students to teach, grow, and perform in the field of dance at large. So that's the long. I'm sorry I was so long-winded, but currently I also and as you see here, so I know it was a state-of-the-art auxiliary. So I'm also currently the coach at Langston University. I am the coach of the Langston University Golden Feline Dancers. This will be my second season as coach. And so really excited. Our application process for our auditions closed on Friday. So we have a good group, a lot of young ladies auditioning. So I've actually been flipping through things this whole weekend, getting things together for that. But I am super excited to be a part of the staff. I am even more excited to work with the young ladies. I take the role of coach with a great responsibility. I'm honored to be at Langston. They've welcomed me with open arms, and they have supported me in all that we've done. So it's definitely been a collaboration in that space because I'm learning the university. I'm learning, their cultures, their traditions, and then they've also been open to what I can do to help support that and elevate that. So it's definitely L's up for me, even though I'm a diehard Jag.
Look, anything that take y'all away from I'm here for, because now you got that orange and blue. All right, but I'm here for it. So with you
I was
saying
on the FaceTime with one of my friends before I got on the call. He was like, and he works for the university. He was like, "Where you with this Langston stuff?" And I was like, "Look, these people pay me." So
hey, we don't play about our chick. All right, so I want to quickly show this clip of the Golden Felines, and then we're definitely gonna open up a few more interview questions, and then we'll get into some of the panel discussion. All right, so guys, this is gonna be a quick clip of this season currently, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I didn't mess up. And this is the Golden Felines.
My baby be rocking the end of the season, you pull them up.
All right. This is gonna be our Golden Feline. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong screen. I'm sorry. I shared the wrong thing. Let me try that one more time. Look, clicking too much. All right, so we are here. There we go. All right, here are the Golden Felines.
Oh, this was high school day.
Mm. Hey. Hey.
Hey,
Mm.
man, look, you baby.
That's
And
all
let's stop playing
down.
with the Golden Female.
And I wasn't even there that game. We had a that was the same weekend as Dance Africa here in Dallas, and so I was here. But yeah, they did. They nailed
Man, so it oh, guys, it's so much I want to ask. Like I'm trying to get it in order in my head.
that.
All right. So let's take it back to TMJ first, and then
Okay.
we'll bring our way back to Langston. For me.
Okay.
All right. With TMJ, so you said you did a dance company for 2 seasons. I definitely remember coming to one of your shows in one of the
Mhm.
seasons that you had. And then you are now working strictly with the next generation.
Yes.
So
Well, not sure that I mean, we are working with professional artists, but the students that we've been training, that I've been training, they've been with me so since they were like 3. So like now they're like 9, and so they actually move and perform and work like professional dancers. So even in our school, um, what is unique about one of our instructors is we don't have like a pre-professional training program. We have a young professional training program.
mhm,
And I say that because, what defines a professional a lot of times is not the achievement of a certain level of skill.
mhm,
Professionalism has to do with timeliness. It has to do with character. It has to do with attitude. It has to do so. When you really begin to think about like what makes a professional, there is really no real age to professionalism. And so we began to instill that idea of professional dance now. So over the next few months, you'll see us mentioning like the TMJ company and the company coming back and returning. That's still going to be primarily with our student dancers, but they are
mhm,
professional, so they'll be labeled, a professional company. I'm definitely working to push. What does it mean to be a professional? Because a lot of times it's like, oh well, if you do X, Y, and Z skills, and if you did, then that makes you a professional dancer. No, that makes you an excellent trained dancer. That makes you a
mhm,
great, technician, or it makes you whatever the case may be. But some of the greatest technicians are not professionals. Like some people wouldn't
mhm.
want to work with them at all. So professionalism is going to maintain your job more than the ability to have all these skills.
Right, right. And I guess I want to tap in on something you said. You said you originally, and I learned a whole new nugget about you that I did not know. You said that you originally went to Southern and you graduated with a business degree, correct?
Marketing with a concentration in
Okay.
professional sales.
Right. So you came to Dallas looking to be the a black CEO. You said you were a vice president of at a company, and
hmm
then you wasn't fulfilled, you wasn't happy, and you
hmm
wanted to return to your passion of dance.
hmm
And so there you went back to school. Well, you started taking classes at Dallas
hmm
Black, and
hmm
then you went back to school and started
hmm
working on a complete degree in dance.
hmm
What going school is enough, okay? The first degree is a lot, and I'm saying that from
Yeah.
somebody who's been in school 3 times now,
hmm
because I have a couple of degrees, but
hmm
it takes a lot of motivation to go back. So, what made you decide I'm going to go back and completely work on a new degree to the point that I need to go back and completely do this another way than what I did the first time? Like, what really caused that switch outside of not being happy, the boredom? I got that part, but what was the real turn for you to know that dance was a passion and I need to follow that?
Um, I think what graduate school did for me was it gave me time to sit and reflect. So I didn't even have an intention. I think going into graduate school, my goal was to spend a little bit more time training and then prepare to be an AILA dancer. My goal was to be in the Alvin Ailey company by now. So I had my track set up. I was going to audition at Philadelphia, which I did the January audition. And then from Philadelphia, I was planning to do. I had my eye on Ballet Hispanico, so I wanted to dance there a couple seasons, and then ultimately end up in the Italy company. That was my goal in getting in going to grad school. And as I tell most people, a lot of times, school is a good nesting space. Like when you are in that space to where you're unsure, pick up a new skill, pick up a new trade, like, so it doesn't have to be college, but if you're in this space of uncertainty, do something that's going to add value to where you are. So I knew I had a bachelor's in business. And so, that has supported me now because, my dream of becoming a CEO, it actually came to fruition. Like I am a CEO, a young Black one, my own company. But I wanted to, be able to use my skills in other ways. And I wanted to be able to validate myself in other ways too. I knew that having a degree in dance would say something differently when I wanted to go teach or when I wanted to book an opportunity, right? So there was that space of uncertainty of what I wanted to do, but there was also, as we say, the price goes up when you add certain things and certain letters. Once I added them little 3 letters of MFA, now the rate for me teaching is different. Now and then also too, I knew that I would be taking the entrepreneur route. So I knew I had to do something that again would give me the opportunity to do that. So that's what brought me to school, to graduate school. What I didn't know was that graduate school was going to definitely take me and push my thought process. Because TWU was more about the writing than it was about the performing. It was more about the why you dance, and it was more about the I'm curious about this. It was more about the curiosity and the questions that we could answer. And so it definitely took me into a space to where I was like, oh, well, you know what? Dance is not just performing. It's not just entertaining. It is what the world used to cry out. When the world shut down with COVID, everybody turned to TikTok, and movement sustained us while we were there. When the riots were happening, most of the times in order to stop the riots, there had to be some sort of parade or some sort of dancing or some sort of celebration to be able to, calm those things down. So I began to see that movement in itself was something that was healing for the community. It was healing for people. And that is my purpose in life, like I'm a healer, and so it just happened to be that, my tool for healing is dance. So like grad school really allowed me to reflect and see like, what, it's so much bigger than me, like it's so much more than what Terrence is like. I try to be more of the background person. Like I haven't talked on a platform like this ever. Like this was one of my first interviews. Because again, like I try to be on the decrease, so that everything else that is already present, I'm just there to develop it and nurture it and help it get to where it needs to go. So school did that for me, and I'm grateful for it. But my intention was to go be a diva in the Ailey company.
This is your first interview, Terrence.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, actually. You,
my face changed. I was like, wait, what?
no, right?
You know what? Only because like I have a mantra that I just like, let your work speak. Like I try not to because I don't want to seem, but like there's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. And that fine line is often based on perception. So I don't have time to shift your perception of whether you think I'm being arrogant or whether I'm being confident. But if my work is producing what it needs to produce, I don't have to say anything. So most times, like I'm so into the work that I don't have time to speak. But I definitely think that platforms like this, they need to, like my voice is important.
It is.
All of our voices are important. Especially, like views, like, because again, like I view things a lot differently, especially as a coach. And so, I was excited about it. Like I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah. Quay, next question.
So you went to TWU.
Mhm.
I would like to know a little bit about the dance department there because
Mhm.
I am interested in
Okay.
attending in the fall.
Oh, okay.
So I would like to know, like, what can I look forward to, or what did you gain from the company?
Mhm.
Everything that enjoyed about.
Definitely a lot of definitely a lot of writing and reflecting about dance. Most people that go there when we oh Lord, y'all got me on the spot. So, I'm very transparent.
I
So let me
like
just be transparent. The students of color when I went to TWU when it was like all the black kids was there, like was twirling, like the undergrad and the grad students. And so it was the culture of dance there was different. I think because we were there and we really wanted that. Um, and we had to fight for it. Um, and so after we've left, like, I'm not sure of the culture of dance as far as codified movement. You get what I'm saying? The modern, postmodern dance, the improvisation, which are all amazing tools that I've grown to use more and more every day. But it wasn't until after I got out of grad school and really appreciated TWU. So what I tell most people is going into it is that you may not appreciate it while you're there because our intention is, what I don't know what your intentions are. Let me not put intentions there, right? But for me, my intention was I was training and getting myself ready to go to New York. So like when they got to talk about postmodern and release this and then research this article on, why movement is this and let's have a conversation on Beyonce and feminism and her Super Bowl performance. Like I really began to see how dance was in different contexts and how we can use it to have different conversations. Um, and that is what I appreciate about TWU. I think that it's going to definitely make you a dance scholar. It'll definitely make you a dance citizen and definitely have you in the space of some sort of purposeful activism in your work. So I definitely say go for it. Go for it. Be ready to write though. You're gonna do a lot of writing.
Okay.
a lot of writing, which I appreciate, but a lot of writing.
Okay.
So I know
Thank
you. Oh, sorry. So I know you have been, yeah, because it's time. I'm ready to go to some performance. You ready? All right. So I know that you are working with our next generation. You said you're going to restart your professional side with the
Mhm.
second generation mainly,
Mhm.
and so we're going to see that reoccur. So what do we have to look forward to from TMJ as far as when that phase happens? Are you going to be?
Yes,
I know you do.
our recital on June 8th is going to be fierce. So we'll see the marketing for it will come out, but our school recital, we started working on one of the pieces yesterday in rehearsal, and I was like blown away. I was like, these kids, because so many people come to me and they'll be like, oh my God, your dancers are so good, or these kids are so good. Even, my Langston dancers. And I always tell people that true education is not about what you teach, is about what you bring out. So the students that come to me, they already have all of these things. I just show them where to find it. So it's not me. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like, it's my guidance, but at the end of the day, all of these things that they can do, like they came to me with that. Like I just showed them how to access it. And so I'm in rehearsals and I'm like, wow, like y'all are this fierce at like 9 years old and 10 years old. So the recital is definitely going to be super, super amazing show. So June 8th, South Oak High School Auditorium. So marketing and everything will come out for that real soon.
I cannot wait. Definitely share that with us because we definitely will share it with our audience as we go forward because we would love to pack the house out and support the
Yes,
kiddos. All right.
please.
As okay, so my next question, or Quay, did you have a question ready?
No, go ahead.
Okay, my next question. Let's get into your resume as far as it going into the major red realm. Now we've talked
Okay.
about your professional side. We understand your mission, your why, how you got here. Definitely threw me for a loop because I thought you came with dance. I was like, does Southern have a dance
Oh.
school? I kept telling myself, I don't remember Southern having a school of dance. But I just was like, well, maybe I'm crazy. And I just left it alone, didn't ask no more questions. But you definitely schooled me tonight. So so with that being said, I know you coached here in the local area in Dallas at a couple of different schools and a few different organizations, as well as in the All Star range. So let's talk about that first before we head into your collegiate pathway right now. Give us some of your thoughts. Well, actually, let's go and throw the question in there. What is your thoughts on the state of auxiliary today? I think this is a great turning point to ask that question.
Yes.
Oh wow. So honestly, I actually think I think that it's beautiful. I think that there are a lot of hungry young ladies and men because some auxiliary like our flags and things like that are definitely open to the males. But I mean, even the male dancers though, this generation of students like they're ready. You know, they need the opportunities, but I think that with the right guidance, with the right coaches, with the right adults and experienced people in place, I think it's a really great future. Like I look at high school teams a lot now, especially as a coach. And some of these high school teams, like I'm like, whoa, like So I think overall that it is great. I think that when you speak of auxiliary, I think that it is inclusive of your flags, or like as some people will call like color guard, and your twirlers. I still think that there is some disconnects between those organizations. I think a lot of times, my experience is that there's some collaboration to make it work, but there's also just a disconnect. It can definitely be disconnect in those spaces. I think that there's some hard conversations that we don't like to have, but we probably should have to help build those spaces. But overall, there's a lot of talent that is coming from these communities, a lot of self-taught talent, and a lot of passion. One of the things that I tell dancers before any audition is you have nothing to prove and everything to share. Like don't come to an audition to prove to somebody that you can dance. Just share what you are, share what you have, because if they're real judges behind the table, they're gonna be able to see through that. Like they're gonna know if you putting on to get the spot, or oh, she really likes to dance. Like she just here for the dance, and like I can't stop watching her. Like she ain't did a step right. She did every step, but I can't take my eyes off of her. You get what I'm saying? And so, there's a lot of that out there. So I think it's a beautiful future. I think the responsibility though is on us as coaches and as directors to make sure that our intentions are pure. And I think that, and I talk about this a lot, like with all of our staff, everybody's so quick to blame the kids. Everybody's so quick to be like, well, the kids didn't do this. And, these kids didn't do this. And it's like, yeah, but you still trying to live through your 20 years ago, like as a coach, I look at it like my kids, like these kids that are sending applications in to on the dance team this year, their birthdays are like 2007. I was graduating college in 2007. So like, what do I look like telling somebody, oh, well, when I was in college, we did it this way. That was 20 years ago. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So as a coach now, my job is to see what's current, to be able to engage with that and say, oh, okay, well, this is a little fine line. I don't know if the university is gonna go for this, y'all, and I'm not losing my job, and we're not either. So we're gonna have to change this. You get what I'm saying? But still be able to, so I think again, the true state of it is on us coaches and directors to really make sure that we're serving as guidance for it.
Okay. Do you feel like what do you think about twirlers and color guard? How is so much of it in high school versus when you get to college, it's not really there anymore?
So first of all, I think that twirling and color guard is the opportunity that we miss out on in HBCU dance. When you look at like DCI and like what they do with those flags and those rifles and things like that, like I feel like if I was a band director, I would have to have at least like 40 color guard. Like I would want my field decorated with and like they wouldn't just twirl like one flag, they have flags and things, like I feel like color guard is so necessary because it is the most inclusive. You know what I'm saying? It is the most body positive. It is the most gender neutral, because that's where we can have our males be a part of it, right? Like it really is a space that is most inclusive. When you look at our dance teams, it is for the women. It's for the women of a certain figure, of a certain body, of a certain, like, all those things. So I think that what the color guard does is it does provide that space of inclusiveness. It does provide that space to where, we really can amp up what our show looks like, what we can sell our shows with. I definitely would love to see, more rifles out there. Like, I was watching a video the other day, and they were like twirling the rifles and catching them with so much precision and stuff. I was like, man, we need that in HBCU dance. And then also too, with our twirlers, there are twirlers that are great, but when I see other teams twirlers, they be twirling. I mean, like, the baton goes like disappear and then it reappears, like. So I think those are opportunities that we really could expound upon. Here's where people are going to probably not like my opinion on this, but I think it is the difficult piece of it that we do have to have the conversation about, is that, like, they can't be the dance team though. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times we feel we run into, oh, well, the cameraman is on the dance team, or the cameraman is, like, everybody wants to do stands, and everybody, now you got all of this stuff going on because everybody is in the stands, like, trying to really wear it out, when it's like the color guard auxiliary, you are designed to shine on the field. Like, you are designed to be the highlight of the field. So the dancers have a 1 minute and 30-second routine at most. I was a little bit late, so I give us a little more time. But on the field, most dance teams are on the field less than 2 minutes. Most color guards are on the field from the top of the show to the bottom of the show.
That is true.
And they don't maximize, this is my opinion, they don't maximize what that time is. If I had the dancers on the field from the top to the bottom, you got the sled. You're on there the whole time. Most color guards don't leave the field. And so I feel like that is the space where they should shine the most. That is the space where you should see more flag features. You should see more twirl features. You should see all that, because when we get in the stands, we can't have everybody twirling and dancing and all that in the stands. Like, and I'm not saying that there can be no movement, but it's like battle of the teams in the stands. Like, everybody trying to, throw counts. And I look at the band organization as the big picture. You get what I'm saying? And the big picture is, it's like so much going on. So, I think that, when it comes to the other auxiliaries, are not other auxiliaries, because we all are auxiliary and we all are important. But when it comes to the space in the stands, I think we get into petty arguments about that. I think we get into petty arguments about who's the Beyonce of it all. Like, everybody gonna be seen. Like, everybody gonna be, because we all are one, there is a larger fan base for dance teams. So you can't take away that the media team is going to focus on the dancers. You can't take it away. Like, that is the culture, until we build a culture where people are saying, did y'all see the twirlers over at PV? Did you see the flashing bright over at like, people are not having those conversations, and that has nothing to do with the cameraman. That has to do with, like, again, what your work is saying. So if you getting up on the field as a twirler, and y'all just toss the flag a couple times, and then you do a couple stands with the flag in your hand, that ain't the color guard that I watch. The color guard that I watch, honey, they be twirling and dancing and doing pirouettes, and they have to dance it and split it and catch it. I feel that all auxiliaries should take dance class. Like, all auxiliaries should be doing progressions, because I don't want to see you do catch-ons. I mean, we call them catch-ons in Louisiana, but I want to see you do stands with a flag. Like, no, twirl that flag and dance with it. Like, do something with it. But what I see happening is a lot of stand choreography blending in with a few twirls here and there. The flags never left your hand the whole show. Like, that's not exciting.
I agree.
So
I'm sorry. I definitely want to just put a pin right there for a second, because Terrence just came in.
Gave a whole book about it.
Okay. So I definitely want to just chime in, because I'm one of the few coaches that can probably do 3. I know there are some that can do 2, 1. I can do all 3: twirl, dance, flag, whatever. The thing about it is, and this is how I feel about it, and I think you hit the nail on the head. So I'm in total agreement with everything you just said.
No, seriously.
Most HBCU or show band styles do not take the opportunity to allow their auxiliary leaders, coaches, whomever, to fully develop the show around the band, or even come with an idea where a show can be developed around the band. And I understand that a lot of times we're changing shows weekly to bi-weekly, and there's a lot of movement around trying to pick those shows and make sure that we are developing something that's workable. Because I know, when you're looking at the core style and the DCI, they work on that one show for a while, and typically that show may run them the whole year. Where in show style or in the HBCU world, we're changing shows or moving parts of that show frequently.
Child, the video you showed, they did that dance the day before. Like, we had been practicing a whole nother day. So I was like, oh my God, this but they still did good. But I was like, oh, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. So that's why, like, I stay out of like fan comments, because people never really know the other side. Like, these girls and women on these teams, like, they are amazing, because they, like you say, they changed that the day before.
Yeah. And so with that being said, I don't think that people utilize, as you said, the color guard. They're often put in the back. We talked about that last week. They're often the oversized girls. They're often the ones that couldn't make the dance line, whatever. But as you said, they should take dance classes. One of the things that I always try to teach at any camp or any team that I've taught or have taught flag is dance with an apparatus in your hand. And if you treat it as such, you can still do dance movement motions, jetés, chenets, even a pirouette with a flag. It all can be done. It's all in your delivery. If you go to DCI, for those who've never been, and I know they do one here in Mesquite around August every year, end of July, August, and it's I love to go to that show every year. It's so worth the $20-$25 because when I say you see flag, I mean, yes, the bands are awesome, and yeah, they're there. But to me, the auxiliary is what brings the show. Everything's built around auxiliary. You see the band come in with their uniform and their instruments, but the props, the flags, everything is based around what that auxiliary is going to do, and they set the theme of every show. They tell the story of where the band director wanted to go with the music, and I feel like in show band we missed the mark. We missed the mark on that so much because we're so worried about tradition. Oh, we got a 90-second feature, 75-second feature over here for the dancers. The twirlers may get, if they have a twirler, they may get drill in that, and even not the whole drill. They may get a clip of the drill. And then flags, if there's a song we can squeeze you in or a concert tune, then yeah, we'll put you there. It's not inclusive. We don't change our flag colors. We don't change the mood of the song. We keep the same old flag every performance. And even in the stands, just to tap on that, and then I'll let you continue. I agree with you there. It is a battle in the stands because everybody's trying to fight for the spotlight. I do believe that, as you said, movement can happen. I think the thing is you have to keep your apparatus. We see a lot of people put their apparatus down and they don't do it. What I love PV because PV moves from the 6-foot poles or 5-foot poles to the swing flags, and they have their little counts, but that flag is moving the whole time, and you see so much color and movement on the left side or behind the band that it just makes it like a party. It don't matter what PV play, it's like a party happening behind the band or to the side of the band because the flags are jumping. I love that look. And then, of course, I see AAMU, Alabama A&M University, they use swing flags. They use 6-foot poles in the stands. And it's still...
Yeah, I saw that before, too. Yeah, I think I did see that.
Yeah, and they still deliver in the stands. And I think that's the thing. Instead of fighting for the attention, as you said, and I'm just capitalizing on what you said, instead of fighting for the attention, I think we definitely have to learn how to be in our element and be in our element so good that the attention is going to naturally come.
And I think that, one of the things is that you're hitting on is one, it is a band director conversation with developing the show, right? And that's not an easy conversation because you know how band directors are. But I also think that, we have to shift the culture of the auxiliary. I know you mentioned these as, again, these are truths. These are what the culture says. The culture says it's the big girls. It's not like, like everybody can, like, you don't have to be a big girl to be like the flag girl. It's not the girl that didn't make the dance team. Like some dancers should really want to be flags and color guard if you're training that way. Because when you look at those DCI color guard, they are training, they sweating, they like, it really takes a lot of strength and training to be able to do that. So I think one, we have to shift the culture of, what, like, how we identify with the other auxiliaries now. For young ladies that aren't guaranteed, or as I like to say, deferred for that season of dance, to keep them active and to keep them involved, yes, I would definitely say, hey, look into this auxiliary because there are more spaces, there are more opportunities, right? With most dance teams, there's only a certain number of spots. As I, we've had the question about sizing too with me as a coach at Langston. A young lady asked, is there a weight requirement? There's not a weight requirement, but you have to be able to fit the uniforms that we have in the closet. You get what I'm saying? So, we can't have this. We can't be like, oh, okay, we can't have a conversation about weight, and we can't. No, we have to have that conversation because we would have to make a certain amount of uniforms here, unless someone is going to give us a budget to get uniforms to meet all this. But most collegiate teams, they have to fit the uniforms that are in the closet. So like, if you've seen that the team before you, if everybody on the team before you was a 0 or a 6, and you're like, okay, I want to be on this team. Not saying that you have to be that size to be on that team, but you got to think about, they don't have no uniforms my size. I don't know if they may not. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Those then become the questions that you say before you go there, because it is typecasting, and that's how the industry works. Like when you look at the commercial dance industry, Beyonce, for example, if she needs a 6 foot tall dancer with bald head, and that's the person that they're looking for out of all these people that come to the audition. It could be 9 million people in there. We're looking for this type that's going to fit this, whatever the case that we have here. So I think when it comes to when you look at the idea of dance teams and like, oh, a big girl didn't make the dance team. Well, if that team doesn't have those size uniforms in the closet, it may not be her dance ability. It may be funding. Like, we have to make another uniform. And so I think when we look at the other auxiliaries, it's not always the girls that didn't make it, or if they didn't, it's another opportunity for them to excel. As I said, the flag and the color guard are, to me, they're the most inclusive, and I think that that's the value that they bring. But more importantly, to me, they are the field show. Like, if they really took their spot as, like, when we step on the field show was lit because of the flags, like. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like, that'd be my thought. But I think that, again, the difficult conversation, I think that most flag lines want to look good in the stands. And I think that becomes the disconnect.
We had the conversation last week, or mentioned shortly, briefly, North Carolina A&T, and just how Golden Delight presents themselves as an auxiliary unit, because they do incorporate twirl, the flag, the rifles, sabers, color guard, dance, and they're all one unit. Versus, they're one unit, but still have their kind of divisions within that unit, but they're one unit. So you have to kind of learn all three. All dancers are required to twirl or to do twirl, either flag or baton or whatever. So I think, we were talking about last week that was something that a lot of bands could take away, because NCAT is able, and I think Kiana Lynn comment kind of extended itself to that as well, that NCAT shows are so much different because they create a full theme where their troop or their auxiliaries on the field the entire time. They never sit down. From the time that band enters to the time it leaves, that auxiliary is on the field. Versus,
and I think that they follow more of their core style. I think that's kind of like what do you want to call it, like divisional cultures too. So like when you look at like SWAC schools and like that, like our bands are real brassy. Our sounds are, like it really has like, and I don't know people have to say, but it has like that New Orleans brass band sound. Most of the kids in these SWAC bands come from New Orleans, and it has like that culture. Whereas those MEAC schools are schools that have like a more melodic sound. Even though FAM is in the SWAC now, FAM kind of has that same style too. So I think it really is culture shifts like within the SWAC and within, well, I don't even think none of those schools are in the MEAC anymore. But those MEAC schools usually have they have a closer connection to their core DCI style of training and drilling. than the 8 to 5 that most SWAC schools do. So but I definitely think that it is definitely very exciting to see. I mean, their dancers do full productions on the field,
Mhm.
so I've seen them change costumes and everything on the field. So it definitely is exciting. As a swag baby though, like I love our brassy culture. But
Mhm.
I feel like again, if we added the auxiliary to like if we
Yes.
added the flags to like what we got
Yes.
going on, like it would
Mhm.
be so dope, especially when they do like all the SWAC schools, especially when we go to these national battles, everybody do a slow song. If you had like 40 flags with those big flags like it would be so much more dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Even if they took like one big, you know how they take the American flags, they make the American flag on the like
Mhm.
what if a flag line had like one big flag and in the song they pull out their school flag across the field or something like that? You need a lot of flags for that kind of stuff, but it would bring so much more excitement to the show. But I love the flag. And I'll say this: if Flash of Fire Langston, they're my babies. They love Coach T. Like like when they, when I see them, because we all are one auxiliary unit at Langston for sure. But like they'll call me into practice. Hey, Coach T, we need to work on this. Can you come in and help us? Sure. So they do training. I'm sure they'll be training more and more.
I think
Mhm.
that will give a lot of dancers, I mean, auxiliaries, twirls, and flags, opportunities to participate in the collegiate level because a lot of times, like we said last week, there's so many of them in high school, but when you get to college, there aren't as many. So I think that would help with a lot of the girls who are interested in those auxiliaries, to move on and move forward to the collegiate world.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Man, you gonna drop so many nuggets. I don't even have to go into my other bag of questions because I feel like you gonna railroad
No,
us with all
ask
this
them.
knowledge.
Ask them.
So one more question regarding, because again we do want to bring some attention. You've given us a lot on the auxiliary. Let's talk a little bit about Langston before we get into our panel. Let's talk about your stint at Langston as the director of the Golden Felines. You've taken on that rich history there at LU. We know that the band culture at LU has definitely taken a shift in the last few years with the leadership changes and everything that's been going on. And now they've added you as a director officially this past year, and you are changing, bringing some culture there as well as understanding their culture. You said, but also you are bringing a style there. Now I know. From seeing some of the things you've done in the past, you definitely have a rich history in the dolls, and I know
Mhm.
that you love the doll style. How is it being a coach? And then, of course, you can vary off from there. But how is it being a coach where you're having to go here and now adjust to what they do, but also bring in the vision that you see for this team and develop that team? What do you see that as? Because not everybody gets that moment to have to transition into something they're not familiar with. So
Mhm.
coming there as an outsider into their culture and transitioning that, but also keeping their history. How is that for you?
Mhm. That's a good question. It's been very good. It's been a very easy transition because again, my intention. As I mentioned, I think that I take coaching very seriously and I take it with a great responsibility. And there's a difference in being the coach, and there's a difference in being the choreographer. There's like all of those things are different roles. So my first job as a coach is to understand the team that I'm working with. So I didn't come in with any idea about how I wanted them to look, how I wanted them to be. I actually went in and researched them. I started finding videos of Langston to see what they do. Even though, again, I am a graduate of Southern University, I love the doll style. I always tell people I've never been a dancing doll. And so I can't train anybody to be what I haven't been. I can't train anybody to be a J set. I can't train anybody to be a Gigi. I can't train anybody to be anything that I have not been. I can train you to be a dancer. And so that has always been my thing as a coach. So as a coach, I'm here to train you to be a dancer. That's the first thing. And I don't have to be able to do it to know what look good. I can look at it and see what it need to look like. I'm not a bucker, but I know what a buck need to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't come in with the idea of changing anything.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, have some new things and some new looks. But when I really looked at the material that they had, I was like, this stuff is good. Y'all, we need to clean this. We need to focus on this. We need to bring some attention to detail. We need to, that's my job as a coach. My job as a coach was not to come in and truly shift the culture more than it was to shift the way of working.
Okay.
And so that was the biggest thing was like, what is, how are we looking at relationship management amongst the team? How are we looking at mental health and wellness amongst the team? One of the things I went into this knowing, and I don't, again, I haven't done interviews a lot, so no one has ever heard this from me. But I'm so careful in this industry because it breaks a lot of women. And I don't say girls, I say women because these are women. They're women in school. It breaks them, and a lot of times it's the coaches because we have such hard stances and we have such get out of my face and we have such and there's no license to feel. One of the things that I give all my dancers is a license to feel like you can come in here and not want to deal with me. You can come in here and your boyfriend could have pissed you off. You could come in here and your teammates, you probably don't want to deal with them, your craft system. Like you have the license to come in here and feel how you want to feel. I want you to feel. That lets me know you're human, right? But the mature professional will be able to navigate through that space. And I even give my dancers the license for that too. Hey, do you need a minute? Because I still need to see what I need to see. I understand that you got all what you got going on, but I need to see what I need to see. But I need to come to that with some care first. I need to come to you and say, I'm human, you human. I know how it is sometimes. So I get it. You're not, today is not your day. But I still need the step. You get what I'm saying? But most coaches don't take that approach. We zip the girls. We cut them. Like there's so much joy in cutting girls. I feel like if I have to cut you, I don't need you on the team. Like I'm not doing cuts every week. When I pick my team at auditions, that's the team. And I need to see every one of y'all on the field. When I get the cutting and all that, I don't need you. If you're not making it week by week, I don't care if you can run a mile in 9 minutes. And I don't care about all that. If I picked you on this day, if you made the team on this day, you need to suit up every game. If you can't, I don't need you here. I could have given this spot to somebody else. So I don't take joy in cutting, because again, that breaks them down. Now I'm cut. Now I'm embarrassed. Now all these people are having conversations about me. So now I have to recover from embarrassment on top of trying to get my steps together, on top of returning next week. And now all these fans are back. Oh, she back. Like, no, we're not doing all that. If I cut you for one game, that's the rest of your season. Thank you. Bring my uniform.
Okay. Because I feel like that the cutting. I know you said coaches have joy in cutting girls, but sometimes it's necessary. But I do agree with you about the give me my uniform because some people are passionate about it, and nobody has time for that. So. Yeah,
I'll try to give, and I also because see, here's the thing. Before I cut you, I also want to reflect: have I done everything that I have done as a coach to prepare you? Because I don't want to make sure I didn't miss the mark either. One of the things that I always say with my team when I'm talking to them is, "What do you need from me?" When I give them any deliverable, when I give them anything that needs me, and I always say, "So what do you need from me? What do you need from me to help you do this?" Because I don't want to just have you out here, how can I help you get to this place? If this was what we've agreed to as a team, because also too, I'm not in college. Y'all in school. I coach grown women. Right. I do not coach teenagers. So I am not here to make decisions about what you're going to wear. I'm not here to make decisions about how your hair is going to look. I'm not here to do all that. I'm here to make sure it look good. So if you come to me and be like, Coach, this is how we want to wear our hair, and I look at them and we're not doing this one. Can y'all find something else? But I like where we're going, but this one right here, we probably gonna have to hold off on this one. And sometimes I'll give them some rationale. Hey, this is a big alumni game. Let's look real traditional. You get what I'm saying? Because as a coach, I understand the business side of it all, right? I understand we're playing this kind of a school this week, y'all. So let's go ahead and curl our hair. Let's not even play with anything else. Let's just be or let's wear pants this week. Those type of things as a coach you can guide, but I think that there are a lot of coaches that want to be the captain. You see a lot of coaches that are, and it's like you're coaching grown women. Like, what does that say to you as a coach? When we choreograph, like I'm not the choreographer for the Golden Felines, I had 14 girls on my team this year. If y'all can't come together and put things together and we work together collectively, most of the choreography that they do is theirs. I add parts in and I clean up certain things. I'm like, oh, this train, because my experience said that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to coach. But I'm not here to choreograph a routine every week. Why do I have 14 dancers? What am I doing as a coach if I haven't provided you with the tools to be able to create material? So when you leave here, now you can't get a teaching job. Now you can't get a choreography job because you didn't do it. You relied on all your coach. So I know a lot of coaches where it's all their decision, what they wear, how their hair looks, what the choreography is. No, if I have a team of 13 or 14 women, y'all gonna do this, and we're gonna work through this together. And I'm gonna be here to guide you and make sure that that is where it needs to be. So that has been the recipe that I think that has made it most successful, made being at Langston most successful. Is that I see my role as I'm here to support what you are doing. We're going to elevate it. We're going to elevate the look. We're going to elevate the technique. But I'm not here to change you because there's nothing wrong with what you are. Again, everything that you need is already in you. Everything that you want to be is already there. So let's really focus on what that is. So that has been the best part of coaching, and the easiest part to coaching is that I'm really there to guide them. I know what looks good and what doesn't. When they because we have counts that are bucky. And I'm not a bucker. I'm not, but I know what it needs to look like. And I'm like, everybody not there.
Right.
So I want to shift the conversation because you've given us so many nuggets. We're going to start going into our panel discussion because some of the things I want to ask you is going to lead itself right into the panel discussion. So I'm going to kind of go that direction. Y'all, I don't know if y'all are getting in all these nuggets that he's dropping, but gems, he's throwing the stones at our face right now. And I think we need to receive them. Lift up your hands and receive it, okay? Just
Jim, last one.
So Janet said, are you still taking any little girl?
Yes, through March 15th. Yes. www.tmjschooladance.org.
Hold on, you said www.
Actually, I'll put the link tree in here. Let me do
School of Dance.
I'll put the link tree. Yeah, tmjschooladance.org.
.org.
.com. The project.
Hold on. Let me do it. I can put it up there for.
Okay.
.com. There we go. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna scroll this at the bottom. Give me just a second. Let me make that scroll. All right, so y'all can see that in case you want to follow. If you want to follow him and continue to understand what he does, www.tmjschoolofdance.com down at the bottom. Yeah. I'll leave that up for a little while. We're gonna go into our next topic because I was gonna ask you this question, but it was one of our topics on our discussion. So let's just get into it. Our next topic, we're gonna be talking about male coaches. I've been waiting on you to come on here because I've been needing this conversation to happen. And you're here. Male coaches, y'all. We're going to talk about male coaches because, look, oh, God, I don't even know how to explain. It's such a weird place because you love dance. You love your passion for performance. You love working with girls, but there is so much you have to be careful with. And we have to be.
And I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Like, and I tell people this. I'm like, because true enough, that is a space, especially at the university level. As a male coach, I think that was one of the biggest reservations with me being at Langston was, like I'm a male coach, like, but most track coaches of a girls' track team could be a man. A basketball coach of a girls' basketball team could be a man. The girls' softball team coach could be a man. Like all these athletic spaces can have male coaches, heterosexual males.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's a clear homosexual male that is over a dance team, it's like, well, let's be careful. Like,
I think people forget.
Well, what is the issue here? Like, yeah. So that becomes the first thing. I definitely will say, that be. I don't argue with it. There's another mantra that says arguing with the fool proves that there are two. And so I kind of take that because again,
okay.
I feel convicted.
I say that to say, when you come to me as a male dance coach and you haven't addressed the female track team coach and the male softball coach and the male, like when you come like that, like you're coming to me and say that this conversation is more about lifestyle. And so now you are dealing into some spaces that can be unethical. These are spaces now that can be discriminatory. And me having that mindset, like I don't go there, but that is where we're going. You get what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
your issue is not with a man coaching women. That's not the issue. It's clearly not. Right.
Right.
So when that comes, I usually present that as my case, like, well, if there's a conversation or a concern with me as a male coach, we have to look at the male coaches across the board.
Right.
And so if we can't do that, then this conversation can't happen.
Right. Quay, you were saying something just a second ago.
I feel like people forget that you're professionally trained in your craft. So instead of thinking of it, okay, I know that this person's going to come in here and give me what I need, they're looking at it as this is who you all chose and it's going to be a problem because X, X, Y, and Z, And I feel like a lot of times it's really has a lot to do, well, it really has a lot to do with women to me, because say like parents, like I know that you coach a collegiate team, but there are male coaches over community dance teams and everything. And I feel like they're not, like I said, looking at the training of the girls. They're just looking at the fact that it is a male. And a lot of times when it does come to the collegiate world and a male is over it, I feel like they have a say because they have danced or something. Like for example, alumni or something, they have danced and they feel like, hey, well, he's never done this, so how can he train them in that? But it's like, again, you are teaching dance.
Right. One of the things, again, I offer people just to, just kind of, history repeats itself. Our history gives us a reflection into what the future could be. So I often ask people to look and see how many articles or what they can find where a male dance coach has molested a student or been inappropriate with the student. See how many basketball coaches, gymnastics coaches, how many heterosexual males have been coaching girls that have been reported inappropriate. How many homosexual males have been, like, the numbers never add up, right? And so I think, again, it becomes a situation of lifestyle. And so that's where you go into like what's acceptable and what's not. Once people get past the idea that, like, I'm a male coach, then my lifestyle around it looks acceptable, and I tell people, like, I don't ever want to be the model or the banner or for whatever homosexuality looks like for people, right? But even though I present very androgynous, and like, some days I can be very masculine, some days I can be divinely feminine, like I don't present female ever, but like my mannerisms are definitely divinely feminine. And I think it is more acceptable for someone like Terrence, who speaks well, who still presents as a male, who, does all these things. But what about our males who are a little bit more non-binary, and who, do dress different and things like that? They have a huger issue, and they're more closely to women. You get what I'm saying? It's like honestly, it's like the gayer you are, like the harder it is to be a male coach. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it becomes a conversation about, like, how people are discriminating people in certain communities, because there are certain levels of it that is acceptable. So I think, again, when we're looking at gay, and I will say, our gay community, we can make issue for ourselves, because you can't always go in and shake it up. If you're going into a traditional university setting, like, you got to be smart enough to be like, okay, girl, I got to tone it down I have to pull it down just a little bit, or you know. And so, but like you know, like we want to walk into these places like, oh, it's all inclusion and it's like you have to be strategic. You know, like you have to really look at, and you can't want to outshine the girls. You know, like I never want to outshine my dancers. Like I rarely take pictures with them that I post. Well, I take pictures with them, but that I post because I really want it to be about them. Now I'm gonna look fly with them, you know. Because I'm a reflection of them too, you know. So like I'm gonna always show up, and you know, and they like it. They be like, "Coach, yeah." But at the end of the day, you know, like I still take that back seat. So again, some of our male coaches though, like you know, in our community, like you want to live through these girls and you want like you just want we can do much. We can do much that is not beneficial for the team. You know what I'm saying? That's not building the team brand. That's not building the team exposure. Like if it's not doing all that, you're going to run into issue. But one of the things that I do as a male coach, just to protect myself, is I always keep a molestation policy. It's super expensive, but I keep that to cover myself. So if something like that were to ever happen, like I don't even have to fight it. I have a agency and an insurance company that I pay for it to go there because anybody can pull that up against you. So for my male coaches, I always, you know, suggest that there is some sort of insurance policy that could, you know, it's just like doctors. Like if they have a malpractice, they have insurance that will cover that so that they're not having to take care of all that litigation. But you know, male coaches, you know, it's something that's acceptable when your work is done. And even me, like again, I do great work. I work well with kids, all of these things, but I still have resistance in the space as a male coach for sure.
You know, and you again, lots of nuggets. I didn't even know they could take out an insurance policy on the list.
Yes, it's expensive, like $3,000. Yeah, I have it.
Totally learned something new. But I guess for me, it's always been a thing because you know I'm definitely a person of character, a person of you know, you see what you get. I don't hide it. And you know, in my career, although I've never had any issues and I don't really get any complaints, I've definitely been accused by outsiders, not so much my parents or my students, but by outsiders who want to be where I'm at. And so I've seen people do malicious things trying to tarnish your name to get the spot that you're about to claim or the spot that you're in. And it sucks because it's like people be like, oh, well, why, you know, how do you do it? Because, you know, I've had it down to a point where I've had to have a parent sit in practices with me due to a false narrative. And again, nothing ever been found, and I've never had any tarnishes on my name. But just, you know, getting to that point where, you know, you have to have a parent sit in just for my protection, so somebody can visually watch and see that nothing is going on outside of practice. I mean, it's gotten to that extent.
And for me, that becomes an administrative issue. Like, you know, what I mean by that is the administration also should fight for my character. If you've hired me to be in this space and you have me here, then this is not, so like I don't have to have a parent to sit in on here. Like I had like the administration hire me, the administration is behind me. There's nothing to prove that I've done this. So this is how, you know, like I'm going to operate. I definitely had to get to a point very early on though, where I had to block out the noise. And then the more that I become an entrepreneur, I understand that all press is good press. So if you say my name, then that's gonna keep clicks going. It's gonna get insights and whatever the case may be. The algorithm gonna pick it up. But hopefully, my work speaks to again what I really am that I'm doing. You know, like I'm not gonna again argue with a fool. Like I'm not gonna. The truth needs no belief. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like and I say that because when you look at the word belief or believe, how is it spelled? It starts out spelling belie. So it's like, don't tell me a belie. Like, tell me what you know. Truth is either the truth it is or it ain't. That's it. Like there is nothing, and the truth will always stand. It needs no belief. So I'm not finna prove to you. I'm not finna prove to you if I'm a tree. I'm not finna sit here and prove to you that I'm a tree. If you can't look at me and see that I got roots and leaves and all that, I'm not a tree. Then that's your portion that you got to figure out, you know. So I had to get to that space because it is, you know, like you do want to be the person that's like, you know, I have this great character, I have all of this, you know, but I had to make peace with the fact that in some people's story I'm the hero and in some people's story I'm the villain. right?
Mm-hmm.
And the hero and the villain are the same person, right? The difference between the hero and the villain is they both felt pain. The hero wants to stop people from feeling the pain that they felt. The villain wants everybody to feel the pain that they are feeling, but they both engaged in some sort of pain. So as long as you acknowledge my pain, I don't care if you make me your hero or your villain, because I know what I am. And again, I'm gonna stand on that. The truth needs no belief. But in some people's story, like I am the villain. I am like, oh, I'm not like everybody don't love Terrence. And it's not nothing that, like I look to be like, oh my God, I don't, if it was business wise, no one is gonna ever say like it was a personal attack, like
Mm-hmm.
Terrence attacked me personally. If it was a business decision, if it was a whatever the case, even if it was a fault of mine, I always have enough integrity to come back and say, I apologize for this misstep. Like I apologize for this. I don't say I'm sorry because I'm not sorry ever sorry. I'm always, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person with words, so I can't tell anybody I'm sorry because I'm not sorry, right? But I apologize for this, and not if because some people say, well, I apologize if this made you feel. I'm telling you, it made me feel. So apologize for that. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm the person that I would do that. But again, that still is not going to shift whether I'm the hero or the villain. And so again, as a male coach, I understand that. I understand that for some people, it's like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. And then for other people, it's like, we don't need it. I don't care. And it's like, okay, that's for you to deal with it.
Quick interjection. You got a couple of questions. One of them said, "Do you have summer classes or camps?" Uh,
Yes, we have our summer dance team training camp is going to be June 10th through the 12th. That information comes out tomorrow, actually. It's for individual dancers, middle school teams, high school teams, and all-star teams. It's going to be at South Oak Cliff High School, June 10th through the 12th. So that information will come out. We will have summer school classes. Our summer schedule is still being worked up right now. I do know that our summer intensive will be June 24th. Let me lie. Hold on. June 24th. I should have came on here ready.
it's
See, like
okay.
you ready to plug. You're so ready to plug.
Take your time.
Uh,
Are you pulling it up?
summer intensive is June 24th through the 28th.
Okay.
And that's for dancers 8 to 17. So all that information tomorrow. If you just follow TMJ's at TMJ School of Dance and at TMJ _ Dance Project, all the information will be there. I should have been more prepared. I'm sorry, y'all.
You're fine. You're fine. If you do me a favor, send that to me in the backstage, and I'll
Okay.
put anything that you want me to post. I can put that up so that way they'll have that information. The other question for you was, but there are male dancers and choreographers that are on professional dance, such as Dallas Black Dance Theater. Do you all think they have that same problem?
Oh no, because like people like, that's where we exist, like that's our world. So like in the concert dance world, there's a need for male dancers, like there is again, like boys at TMJ train for free, like all my boys on scholarship. So like in certain worlds, it's like we need more dancers, we need more, and we do. I think we're in this space where there's a lot of like people that identify non-binary. I in most settings I identify as he, but like I consider myself non-binary too, because when I'm with my gay friends, like we don't ever use male pronouns, like so essentially it's like, I mean, even the thing like my phone is a she or whatever the case would be. So like so I can be considered non-binary, but in the concert dance world, there is a need for male presenting dancers, right? Because you have many males that are non-binary, and so a lot of them look like the women on stage. Their body type is like women. So there is a need for the I guess we would call it masculine, more divinely masculine male presenting need for dancers. So there are more paid gig opportunities, higher paid for males. I think in the space of choreography, women choreographers are being sought after, a little bit more. But when you look at again the concert dance world, it's still very, very heavily male dominated. The mentors that I follow, that I put myself in the lineage with, Mr. Arthur Mitchell, who started the Dance Theater of Harlem, Mr. Alvin Ailey, who started the Ailey School. You have people like Dwight Roden and Desmond Richardson, Ron Brown, Rennie Harris. Like so the concert world is like very heavy men when you look at, the production of works. The leader of most companies, most ballet companies are men. So I think in the concert world of dance is fine. Also, too, in the commercial world. In the commercial world, you see a lot of male choreographers, a lot of male dancers on stage, unless their albums, like Beyonce is very strong feminist, so she hires a lot of women, but again, she still has male presentation like on the stage as well. So I just think it's the major red word. I think they just don't like, honestly, just real talk. I just think they don't like we gay. That's the biggest thing that I see with it.
That's kind of funny because never mind.
No, hey.
I think that's kind of funny because a lot of times, even though it's not presented in the majorette world, in college, the band directors are, homosexual.
I don't know. I don't know.
So that's kind of contradicting, don't you think?
Well, I mean, I will say this. People have their preference,
Right.
and they have their preference of what they want to be around, and so we, yeah. I just, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the song say? If I can't say a word, I'll just wave my hand.
Well, I can't confirm anything.
I'm just messing with you. No, I mean we know that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we definitely have heard those stories. Especially if you keep up in the band world, you hear rumors of things.
And again, to band directors, their defense, like they have to be careful with it because, as I said, our community can be extra, and these are ultimately the band director is responsible for that. So like a lot of people think like, like in high, I think most people think that the high school structure is how it is in college. So in high school, you have the drill team that dances, but the drill team sponsor is over the drill team and make all the decisions and all that. I work for the band director. Every HBCU dance team, that sponsor works for the band director. So when people be like, "Oh, well, why the girls didn't do this?" If the band director didn't say it, then they can't do it. Or if the band, you get what I'm saying? So we work for the band directors, right? I say that to say the band directors have to protect the overall brand of the band and the relationships and all of that. So the band directors are in these alumni meetings. They're in these meetings with donors and sponsors and things like that. And if there's a part of their organization that is not representing what they feel it needs to represent, then they have to protect that. You get what I'm saying? So again, the flamboyancy can definitely be an issue for male coaches. I definitely am cautious of that. I don't change who I am, but I definitely make sure that I am male presenting as much as possible. I make sure that when I speak that I am more articulate. Like I have to work harder to make sure that I'm not misrepresenting the brand. And I think that is like what the band directors are in concern with more than our being. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's like the idea that a person chooses an alternative way is that if that alternative way of life blends in with what we have going on with this brand, it could be something that, creates issues. So I think that that's why it can be a little bit more touchy.
Understood.
I'm going to switch our topic.
Okay.
And we wanted to get your opinion on this the previous week. And so we're going to kind of go backwards just really quickly. We won't spend a lot of time on this topic, but I want to get your opinion on this. And so our next topic, we're going to take it back to mainstream versus community dance.
Okay.
And we had a couple of quotes that I'm going to go back over just so you can kind of get an idea of some of the things we're talking about, and then you can share your opinion.
Like, what's mainstream versus community?
So community dance, you know what community dance is, and then or like the majorette teams that we have that are started in the community and they're community based, and then you have mainstream.
Really? They call community. I call those all-star teams.
We call them community dance teams,
Same.
but the
I call
same.
them all-star.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was community day.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I call them
community
all-star.
dance teams, those teams, when you think of all these little major community dance teams that you see
Yeah,
in the cities, those or those teams that stylize kind of like the Bring It teams, you
yeah.
have those, and then you have the
And so
mainstream
those will
teams
be
that go to like
considered community teams.
MA or they go to Star or like they do ballet or concert or any of that. So
Okay,
we would
okay,
call
okay,
those
okay.
mainstream.
Okay,
All right.
okay,
So
okay.
here's a couple of little quotes that I clipped from various areas. And we went over these last week, but I want to see your weigh in on some of the just overall. So these are kind of framing the conversation. So I'm going to read them all back to back, and then you kind of weigh in what you think as far as this topic.
Okay.
All right. So the first one was saying I'm a dance coach with no dance experience is insane. That's the first one.
Okay.
The second one, stop putting palm on your flyers, but the judges looking for a field show. I just got pissed looking at the packet. The next one says, I'm a dance coach. Of course, I saw your mama message saying she couldn't pay tuition this month, but I also seen her at Greedy's on her second green
I
shot.
commented on this one. I know who wrote that.
Mhm. The next one says, major ed choreographers. Stop saying you train dancers if you only taught them choreo. Training gets them ready for the choreo. Know the difference and know that you need training too. Woo. Here's one that really started a fire a couple weeks
Okay.
ago. My majorette peeps that follows me on here. Go watch UDA Nationals 2024 on YouTube. UNLV, LSU, University of Ohio, University of Minnesota, Florida State University, and University of Memphis. That's what the kids are up against after high school stepping into the professional entertainment. Tour business. Ask your kids, do they want to go to an HBCU or dance professionally? And from that, start training actual technique, body injury prevention, performance quality, stage presence, how you emote a performance with your body, be storytellers, and etc. Or bring in someone who can help push that agenda. Added, ask yourself, are you training your dancers to be able to compete with those type of dancers? Do you think your dancer can outdance them or go toe to toe with them at an audition that requires technique, jazz, funk, or hip hop? Industry dancing, HBCU lines, and PWI dance teams all train different. So add that curriculum in your studio so they'll be able to hang with anybody after graduation. We got one last one. What I don't like about major red community is y'all praise collegiate teams for having their own style and uniqueness, which they fought for and developed over time. Some grew to love or hate, but want everyone else to look the same. Let me stop. I have so much more to say. In hip hop, we celebrate uniqueness of up and coming different dancers and squads. The more I sit on panels, I notice we are pushing them to be the same, not encouraging, not encouraging them to push envelopes. Aren't and some aren't even welcome to change or uniqueness. I didn't say not have core elements necessary of the style, but uniqueness. My opinion, not debating. All right. So let's weigh in. There's a lot of different areas there, and I did that to start the conversation because these are things we hear all the time. What do you think the weigh in between mainstream and the community dance world, or as you call them, all stars? Either way is fine.
Um, so I'm gonna start with the head. I definitely think that in our all-star community world, there definitely is opportunity for coaches' professional development. Um, and I say that because probably most of these posts came from coaches, and it's just something that they shouldn't post. Like like if you're a coach, like get a journal and write in your journal, or get with passion and performance and see if they'll start like a coaches mentoring space where we can all go in and say these things to each other. But just professionally, we should refrain from that because that's not going to attract people to you and it's not going to attract people to your space. So again, professional development has less to do with skill and more to do with just like how we are, how we're representing our brands. I think there is opportunity to for coaches to be developed in like really how to develop their teams and organizations. Um, I think that when I look at some of the dance coaches, like um, there could be some additional training. Like that is like one of the things that my mantra is for myself is one that I've taken, and it says that in order to teach, you must study. So I'm a teacher, and I love teaching, which means that I'm always going to be a student, because when the student is ready, the teacher will rise. So the teacher in me won't even rise until I have a student that's ready to learn and take what I have to give. You get what I'm saying? So in order for me to be a teacher, I have to always be a student. It's a circle. It's a process. We don't see most of our major ed coaches, and I know if they watch, they probably gonna be like, "Forget you, Terrence." But we don't see them take class, even if it's giving yourself class, right? And what does class look like? I'm not saying take a ballet, but I'm just saying like like are you representing that? Because children learn by what they do, not children learn from what they see, not what you say, right? I'll give an example. At my studio, like high fruity snacks, like Takis and all that, they can't bring that into the studio at all. Like the only hydration that they can have is water. We have fruit. Like this is a culture, right? The way that I got that culture to be is that I demonstrated it. So my kids never saw me with anything but water. They never saw me with anything but because they're going to do what they see. Like they love me. They love Mr. Terrence, so they love their coach. They're going to model that. So then the parents start saying, boy, you got my child walking around here wanting to buy water. Now I got to buy expensive water, and they say it jokingly, but it begins to also shift the family. So now the mother is doing it, and now the father is doing it based on the example that I set. So much so to the other day, I walked in class. I went to the taco stand next to my studio, and I had like a Fanta, and my kids was like, oh, Mr. Terrence, who is that soda for? And so of course, I hope they're not watching, but I told them it was for somebody else. I couldn't tell them it was for me because they, I was like, oh, my friend, come and pick this up. This day lunch. But again, I say all of that to say, our kids are only going to model what they see in us. So when I look at the community work industry, I definitely think that there is a space for professional development for coaches. One, just professional acumen and business acumen. Two, on just keeping yourself in a space for teaching. Are you doing there's both of you work jobs. There you have to do some sort of PD for your job or some sort of continuing ed for your job. Anytime you get a certification, there's always in 3 years you got to re-up your certification. Like nothing that you do is ever, because things like dance, they're always evolving. And so what we find is that most of our coaches are not there. And even me, like I have times in my life when I'm not in as much class. Like I just said yesterday, I was like, oh my God, March, I gotta go to class. Like I gotta, even if it's a yoga class or something. But I have to do more for my own body. So that's one space of opportunity. The other post, the one that really kind of got me the most was the one about the UDA nationals and that bothers me because the training styles are different, right? So everybody was loving LSU and UNLV's routine. Those routines were flawless, right? They rehearsed those routines from the start of school last year. That one routine or two routines. You get what I'm saying? Not taking away from their way of working. But when they made the team, the choreographer came in and set the routine that summer or whenever they had choreography camp, and they worked that one routine for 9 months to perform it for 1 minute. It's supposed to look that good.
Okay.
Thank you for saying it.
Okay.
People don't get it.
You get what I'm saying? It's supposed to look that good. As with any competition. So I say that to say to my community teams too, work in a way to when you go to competition, you are bringing me prepared material. Not material that you just threw together. It should be prepared. Like if I'm judging the competition, I'm expecting to see flawlessness. You had time to practice this. It's supposed to be good. So when I see teams that do well at competition, it's a competition. It's supposed to be good. You have rehearsed it. You have looked at the details. You've broken it down. You brought it to me to where it is so flawless that the most flawless of the flawless is going to be. So, like, I'm not super impressed by the fact that it was a flawless routine. It's supposed to be flawless. It's competition. And also, to the time frame that they work on. My kids right now, we're competing at the Universal Ballet Competition next year. They've learned their ballet variations last week. So they have to rehearse that for a whole year. They won't even compete until next April. But that 1 minute and 30-second solo variation, that classical ballet variation, they have to rehearse it for a year. Most of our community teams you're putting together, when you see coaches post, we put this together this week at the last minute. I had to get my costumes. This person did this person did this. The quality of work is not going to be the same if you change your routine after routine after routine. This week I got this creative. Next week I got this. And I'm not in that industry like that, but I know that the routines are changing consistently. When you
because
look at
requirements change.
The rules all that change. When you look at like the MAs, the NDAs, all this, these teams are taking the same competition, the same choreography all season long to every competition. So by the time they get to nationals, which is the biggest competition, they've rehearsed it, they've done it over and over. It is perfect, it's ready to go. That's not what we see in the all-star or the community dance. Like, these routines are changing. Some teams I've seen coaches say they made routines up the night before to compete. As a coach, I can't make up something I'm gonna compete the day before. We're not even gonna perform nothing for free the day before if it ain't ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the difference in the worlds is the way of working. It has nothing to do with the talent of the kids. Our kids are the most talented, especially our inner city kids. They can learn from what they see.
Okay.
If you can demonstrate it, they can do it. I see kids all day. If you show them how to do a pirouette, they'll do it. And again, most coaches can't demonstrate it.
Correct.
Hey, that's the truth. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, again, my kids keep me young and they keep me active and they keep me on it, because if I really want them to do it, if I show it to them, they can do it. Like, I literally have to warm up myself before I teach a class. If I don't want to do a lot of work, if I want to do a lot of explaining and stuff like that, then I'm gonna be lazy and I ain't gonna warm myself up. But if I want this rehearsal and this to go easy, let me warm up so I can show it to them one time. Our kids have that genius. That's the genius that they have. And so most of our coaches, if you can't demonstrate it, then I say this here. This is a phrase that I use: be a resourceful coach. The best coach is not the coach that can do it all. The best coach is the coach that can say, you know what, I can't teach this, but I'm gonna make sure that we have someone. I'm gonna contract someone to come in and do it. I can't choreograph this kind of routine, but I'm gonna contract the person to come in, and I'm going to sit in while they do it and take notes so that I know how to coach it when you leave. Most coaches are not, from my experience, are not doing that. Like, I've coached for some of the choreographed for some of the major teams, and the coaches let me coach. I didn't see the coach the whole time. My mom was like, well, how you gonna know what note? Are you listening at the notes that I'm giving them? Because I'm not gonna be here to give them these notes.
Right.
You have to give them these notes, right? So again, I think the difference is ways of working and our coaching staffs. I think it has less to do with the kids. The parents are an issue, but I think also too it has less to do with them, because as a coach, if you stand on what you stand on, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of my spaces of coaching is and this is not a standoffish. This is not a hard, like, I can't be bothered. But I don't deal with parents.
Okay.
Here's your packet. Here's what you sign up for. Everything that you pay is online. Everything is done through email. Everything, like, we have parent meetings where we discuss what has been sent out in an email, where we're going over everything that has been given to you in information. At the collegiate level, I coach women, so I definitely don't talk to parents. And that's not about, it's just like, it's always women. I'm 21, 22, like, yeah. So I have no space for that, because everything is so clear from the beginning. Like, it's here's the packet, here's this, here's that. So I think that, even the parents, like, they only do what we allow. Coaches will say, like, your mom ain't paid tuition, but I can guarantee you when they leave practice, they're gonna stop at Chick-fil-A. That's your fault if you ain't tell her your child can't come back to class until the tuition is paid. I had to learn that too. But I had to learn that it was me, it wasn't them. They was only doing what I was allowing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I'm not coming down on the coaches. I'm definitely not coming down on the coaches. But I think that, we hold a lot of the things that, we complain about. And I say we because I'm a coach and I'm in that number. So I'm not excluding myself.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I like the fact that you did say I like the fact that you did say they do work on the routine all year round, and they're doing
the same routine
all year round. So a lot of times when professional people, studio dancers and concert dancers, a lot of times when they're speaking on the majorette world and the SWAC world and, SIAC and all of that, they don't understand that, like you said, it's two different styles and ways of training. So a lot of times when they're speaking, it comes off as disrespectful, and we get looked down at because they don't believe. Well, not necessarily they don't believe, but they see what they see and they have so much to say about it. Versus not knowing that, okay, we just prepared this routine weeks ago, not all year.
Yeah, I mean, for one, you just have to understand that dance has value regardless of what it is. It may not be your preferred style. I am not, when people talk about majorette dance, I have my thoughts on it. Like some of the stuff I feel is like very unsafe. I think that some of the stuff is hard on the body. You get what I'm saying? But I cannot take away from the fact that it takes time and patience, and it's like you can't take away from the work that goes into that just because it's not what I would do. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I definitely feel like that is the responsibility of the majorette community to make sure that people know, it may not be what it is that you're doing, but we're in here, we're working. Some of that stuff is like hard, it's fearless.
Right.
It's very virtuosic, but I cannot devalue it because it is not what I would prefer. You get what I'm saying? So I don't take the value out of it, but I definitely think that again, it's the way of working. So when you look at again those MA teams and things like that work on the one routine all year, they do work on that one routine all year, but they take lots of class on top of that. You get what I'm saying? So if this 1 minute in routine, 30-minute second routine has a turns and seconds section, they're taking jazz class to develop their turns and seconds.
Right.
They're taking their classes are used to build up the skill in the choreography, which makes choreography a lot easier.
Right.
Again, if our coaches would work in that space, it also makes the choreography portion I don't know. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure if our students are taking enough class to really enhance they're doing. I feel like in the community world, I feel like they do a lot of choreography. I feel like they do a lot, they get so much material.
It is. It's choreography heavy.
It is.
It's choreography heavy. A few teams, I know Fearless Headquarters, Diva Elite, and a couple of others that I can't think of all the top of my head. They have classes that they take to actually help their kids in other genres, or at least to help their kids be able to master what they're learning. And then you have, at least in the Dallas area, and then you have a lot of teams, even teams that I have been a coach of. We don't have time for a lot of classes. What we've done, at least in my teams, I always bring in a technique coach, so they can at least get technique and have a steady rotation of learning technique and being fluid in technique and learning new skills or even developing the skills that they have. And then we are choreography heavy because every competition has a different theme, a different requirement, so it's very choreography heavy. And even with my last team I was with, the 3D, we didn't repeat choreography. It was, if we did, it was months down the line. So every competition was a different set of choreography. I mean, maybe stands, and even in stands, we were always trying to develop something, because what we didn't want to do was run into teams and come with the same stuff every time. We wanted to always come with a new.
And I think that if there's any space to kind of reevaluate, I think it would be that. Because when you look at like the mainstream studios, as you call them, or I mean, I can use my kids as an example because we follow that same format too. Our rehearsal date is Saturday, and it's only 4 hours, and they're rehearsed like their 4 hours of rehearsal. That's when you're getting choreography. But my students train 16 hours a week, so they have ballet on Mondays. Well, they have pre-point ballet Horton on Monday, so that's 3 classes on Monday. On Tuesday, they have ballet Horton jazz. On Wednesday, they have pre-point again. On Fridays, they have acro. On Saturdays, they have 4 hours of rehearsal. And then on Sundays, they have individual special training and development. So that's another, like we group them in like where all the kids that are about the same level, we group them in special classes where we say, okay, hey, we need to really get her into turning more, or this student into, so they have another development class. So they're training Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. The only day they do choreography is Saturday for 4 hours. There's a lot of class. You get what I'm saying? But in those 4 hours, I can cover so much.
Right.
Like this past Saturday, we started 3 different ballets for our recital. 3 different sections. And it's a lot of material, but we got it done in 4 hours. We're able to do it because I'm not spending so much time teaching. I don't have to say, well, put your foot right here for the rect to raise. So, no, we did all that in class last week. I'm not here to teach class. If I have to teach class in here, then you're not casting. I can cast the understudy. And then you need to go back to class and work on this in class. Or you don't have this step. And I always tell my students too, don't tell me what you can do, tell me what you have.
Right.
You know, like I can do a double full twist and layout on the right day, but I don't have it, because if I have it, I can do whatever you ask me for. So don't tell me what you can do. We all can do anything we put our mind to. Tell me what you have. And so that's another, again, you only going to have it if you're in class.
Like that, tell me what you have.
Oh yeah, tell me what you have. Don't tell me what you can do.
You had a question. So Keanu Lynn asked, so how do we bridge the gaps between both worlds? I believe both the majorette and the mainstream worlds have something to offer.
Absolutely. I definitely think that. So one of the things I think that we as a Black community, we find ourselves in interesting spaces because we always want to connect, or we always want to bring it together when we are perfectly fine on our own, you know. So I wouldn't want to blend the majorette world and the quote unquote mainstream world, because as you said, they both are unique. They both have something to offer. If a mainstream team wanted to be good enough to, you know, and wanted to see how versatile they are, then come to one of these majorette competitions, because all the majorette teams, when they want to show their versatility, what do? They sign up for it and they go here and they act like that's a badge of honor because you went to Nouveau. Girl, they just charge you more to come and do the same thing that you was just going to do over here. So how do we get those teams to say, we find the value in your competition? We're going to come to the high school gym floor where there's not no LED lighting, where there's not no, where this person, mama, going to be screaming for their baby and howling and yelling, and they're going to have t-shirts, and we're going to sell hot dogs in the front. And because this is us, this is how we do it. Yeah. This is how we do competition. We don't have that confidence in ourselves. We think that theirs is better. We think that when we go to this convention and stuff like that, now my team has arrived because we're at this competition. No. When the people that you spent money with, when they come to your competition that your team is hosting, that's when you can say, oh, they see the value in us. But anybody that I just paid $2,000 in registration fees for is going to value my team and going to make sure that you get a trophy so you come back the next year.
Hey.
So I don't think that we need to look at blending them. I think we need to look at how do we make our own spaces as valuable, as marketable. How do we look and say, how do we shift our ways of working? I definitely think, again, we have to shift our ways of working, you know? And how do we know, like, how do we do what's us? You know, there are so many parents that will come to TMJ, and I tell people this. We are in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. There are so many kids. I couldn't service every child if every child wanted to come to TMJ. I just couldn't. I don't have the capacity, right? Also, every child is not a fit, and every family is not a fit for what we offer. You know what I'm saying? And there are certain families, there are some little girls that will come to me and they'll try class, and they'll have that energy, and I know what they're looking for, and I know the way we work is going, even though it's going to be effective and help her in the long run. Right now, her mindset is not there. She don't want to work this slow. She got performance energy. I tell anybody, if I could take the energy that the performance kids in the Major Red World have and put them on my kids, oh my God, because the Major Red World, them kids turn it on. They're going to entertain you, the end period. You get what I'm saying? That's a value. That's a uniqueness there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to find out. Like I've been honest with people. I'm like, you know what? We don't offer that here, and I think that it would be a best fit if you find a team like this for your child. Don't spend your money on TMJ and do this because your child don't want this right now, and we're not a fit for what they're wanting right now. You get what I'm saying? Because there is value in major. Like I don't. Again, I'm definitely a proponent for. Some of the stuff is very dangerous. Technically, from my training background, it is hard on the body. Like I would never do it. I wouldn't teach it to my kids, but I wouldn't tell nobody that it's not hard to do. I wouldn't tell nobody, oh, don't do that. I'd just be like, that's not my practice. I don't teach that, but it definitely takes skill to do it because ain't nobody injured. So I definitely think that I wouldn't want to try to blend it. Like I would say, hey, come to our stuff. We come to y'all competition.
Yeah, I like that. I really do because when you said that, you had me. Okay, because they don't come to our stuff.
No.
As many competitions,
and then we hold it as a badge of honor when we go to theirs.
Right.
Same style, you get what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, like I'm one. My kids go to UBC, we're going to YGP. Those are classical ballet competitions. If there was a black one or there was a one that was that style, I would go. You know what I'm saying? If I felt like my kids could come to the major, that's a totally different style of performance. My kids would come in there, and even though they would have the technical scores, performance-wise, them kids jump off bleachers, off each other, like they look like. No, my girls are like real pulled up. They're like, oh, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? So, but these are the things that, again, in the quote unquote mainstream, these are the things that they're appropriating from the Major Red World in their competitions. You get what I'm saying? TMJ is a ballet school or modern school, or you get what I'm saying? So we're in that space of contemporary classical school. Right, those are the competitions that we're going to, but these other competitions that these other people are having, like look at a hip hop division. They taking all the major ed stuff, all the tricks that y'all would do. The jazz divisions, of course, the major ed teams that go to these competitions are going to do well because y'all do their stuff anyway.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So I think we have to find the value in what we have and be like, hey, come over here, y'all stealing our stuff anyway. So come on over here and come on and get and see if y'all can take this work. That's when we can really see.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? If we're in the same. Yeah.
I just want to take my shoe and throw it at you.
Okay.
Preach tonight, and I just appreciate you. You've touched this topic. I hope I don't shift y'all. If you have questions, continue to go. But I want to shift the topic because you've touched on this. So I want you to just go ahead and be able to give us your full thought about it, because you've tapped into it in several different of the questions and conversations. But we're gonna shift into our topic of technique versus non-technique. And what does that mean to you? Definitely coming from the technically trained background that you have. I know that you see things, but I've also seen a different side of you tonight that you shed lights in other areas that I didn't know if you saw it that way, honestly. So you've definitely opened my eyes tonight just in hearing some of the things that you're saying. I mean, like I said, I want to throw my shoe. I just want to throw my shoe. But technique versus non-technique. What are your opinions about that? Because we hear that battle, and of course, some of that was even in the mainstream versus community. So you've tapped on it already. But we hear that battle between technical and non-technical. Technical people weighing in on what the major ed community does. The major ed community, not so much being receptive to the technique and understand that is a benefit to have. Is it a must? Not necessarily. But is it a benefit to have? Sure. It's not going to hurt your dancer to be versatile in more than just one thing. So what do you feel about that?
So again, oh man, these are good questions. So first of all, even though like I know it's hard to kind of for people to put like major ed world like in a genre, all that, but like I feel like everything has a technique. So to me, the major ed dance, there's a technique to it. You get what I'm saying? Like even and it's all about the style of technique that you train in. So people have to be clear. Okay, I want my dancer to have more codified technique like ballet, modern, or classical jazz. Then we can break down those elements of what you're looking for. But you can't say that the salt and pepper march that I cannot do is not a technique. Because if it wasn't a technique, I could do it. You get what I'm saying? You can't say that like bucking and all of that is not a technique because there are hand places. Like when I first took my first buck class, they was like, "Oh no, your L's. Like you gotta do your hands." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." Yeah, you see, like so that's technique, y'all. Like, and that was something that I had to learn. So for me, there is a technique. There's a way of doing it. Like there's a way of standing. There's a way of nobody has codified it probably yet. But soon enough, somebody probably will, but just give it its own language. But the major red world has a technique. If it didn't, then anybody could just go in and do what's being done there. You get what I'm saying? So there is a level of technique there, right? Now, should the dancers take like a ballet class or a jazz class or a modern class? If indeed they really wanted to work in the field of dance at large, there's going to have to be some classical training at some point, right? So I definitely think that it is necessary based on that child's goal. But if my child is fine with being on this dance team and in this community, there's a technique that my child is learning here. It may not be first position classical ballet, Cicchetti, Balanchine, Vaganova. You know what I'm saying? It may not be flat back, court and lateral. It may not be none of that. It may not be the Dunham technique. It may not be Bob Fosse jazz. It may not be none of that, but there is a technique and a value to what is done in the major red world. So I think we have to be more clear. I think what people are saying is that their dancers should take more ballet class and their dancers should take more jazz classes. True enough. Consistently though, like that's not a recipe that's like, oh, okay, my daughter took ballet for 2 months and so now all her stuff in major red is better and all that. No, that's not gonna happen like that. You're gonna have to take class consistently over time, over years, and it's not gonna shift your major red dancing as dramatic as you think. Like so many people like, oh, I want my team to be good this year, so we adding technique. It's not gonna matter if all you're doing is choreography though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what you do is you make your choreography workshops have a teaching element. Okay, I know that in my choreography today, I'm doing pirouettes, I'm doing calypso. So in my warm-up, I know we do 30 minutes of a warm-up. In my warm-up, I'm gonna do some of these things in here. Since I don't have time for an official class, I'm gonna add these things instead of us just doing a stretch, I'm gonna start doing some warm-up things. So now I can move faster in my choreography. Right. But aside from that, like just taking a technique class to think that it's going to make your major red style dancing better, it's not going to happen overnight. Like you can just practice your major red choreography every day and it'll get better faster than going to take a ballet class.
Yeah.
Because it's a technique of its own. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like your car needs oil, but you putting gas where the oil go. Like they both work for the car, but if you put the gas in the oil tank, you're gonna mess the car up. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just go to try to take ballet class and get better at ballet to only and to learn to turn out and to stand and all that, to go to bucking practice and go arch the back and that's gonna work against each other.
Right.
You gotta put them C's. It's that C. It's the C in the back.
Like, and that's the technique. So they will come to Mr. Terrence and I would say your alignment has to be straight. You got to, rotate your pelvis and do this. And then they come back and then they got to do this. But that's a technique. So that's not wrong, right? I would be lying to them if they came to my ballet class and said, Coach Quay taught you wrong. You shouldn't stand like that. No, because in Coach Quay's majorette class, that is the technique.
Right.
So for me, technique is technique.
Yeah, I like that. What was I going to say? Okay. I have time. Okay, I had an experience where I was working for a brand and I was doing my choreography that I was going to teach for filming. And it was majorette. The style is majorette. And there's a move that we do in majorette where we use to transition. And it was just a little,
Mhm.
when you're just trying to get somewhere.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they stopped me in mid filming and told me because what they do is, it was wrong to them.
Okay.
They told me if you're gonna do an arabesque, you need to do it full out. And in a way, like I stay professional because at the end of the day, I am working.
Mhm.
But it did make me like feel a way for my community. So how do I?
Yeah. So the classical line is the classical line, right? But if my response to that would have been, I wasn't trying to achieve the arabesque line.
Right.
And that I mean that's just as simple as it is. Like, if they told you to do arabesque, do arabesque. I wasn't doing arabesque.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Proceeded to show them in arabesque because I could do it, and they were like, "Oh."
And so you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to prove that. That's why I always tell people, you don't have nothing to prove. I'm sharing. You hired me to do this. You booked me to do this. You trust what I'm doing. Now, do you want me to take it out? I can take it out because you paid for it.
Right.
But other than that, I'm not finna come up here and defend my choreography. So I would have said, again, like I'm not trying to achieve the arabesque line. It may look similar, it may look arabesque-ish, but and again, there's the trained dancer that's just going to be a diva, and I'm not going to act like my past probably may not have been that person.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I definitely want to be transparent. There were probably times where I was like, ooh, the younger version of me. But I definitely think the more mature, also too, again, the who wants to really evolve what we have in dance. If you're not trying to achieve the arabesque line, you wouldn't try to achieve that line.
Okay.
But don't let nobody make you feel a way about it. Just ask them, well, you pay for this, so what you want it to be? That's how I get at that point. Oh, you don't like this part? Okay, great. How you want it?
Okay. I know next time.
All right, we have one last topic. I think it's a safe moment to transition, and then we'll have our Q&A from anybody else. I don't want to hold him beyond our time. We're definitely at the 2-hour mark, so I want to make sure we let him. He has a job tomorrow, so it'll work. All right, our last topic of the night, and this is going to be a good one because it definitely is going to be a different one. We have a few video clips to go with this. The topic is going to be the forgotten auxiliary, spoilers and flags, and I think this is a great one to end on the night with because you definitely covered a lot of this at the beginning of the show and how you felt and your passion as being one auxiliary, and we are underutilizing our auxiliary. So I have a couple of clips here. I'm gonna show a couple different ones. Again, shout out to all videographers who go out here and record the media so that we can have it to watch and look at and reflect on and be entertained by, because that's what it is. It's our TV. It's our channels. And so thank you, Smash Time. I know I'm using quite a bit of his stuff tonight, but thank you for a couple of other independent videographers as well as a few other ones I'm not familiar with. But we're going to always give credit. And then here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and show our first clip. And we're just kind of going to weigh in between. I'll be showing clips, but just talking about the under usage of the auxiliary and how we can continue to highlight and bring that culture back into the HBCU show band style, because as you said earlier, we're not utilizing them to their full potential. Definitely when it comes to the field show, that's where they reign supreme. And I feel like they are, they're a shadow on the field and not a spotlight. And that's sad. All right, so I'm gonna go to our first clip real quick, and we're gonna get into a few things as we get ready to close out our final conversations. I have a couple of clips here, but again, like I said, we're gonna stop and talk in between each of these clips to kind of give feedback. So we're gonna start with I'm gonna take us back a little bit, and let's start with the majorettes for the night, and we're gonna look at the majorette battles between Edna Carr and LB Land.
They had them two batons. Oh my god!
Babe, you already know the girls come ready. Okay, so here we go, so people can understand, because we touched this a little bit on the twirler battles, but it's something that a lot of people don't see. But in New Orleans or in the
I'm from Louisiana,
All
That
right.
is culture. The boots with the So you see what I mean by like so much going on? So that's the dance team over there. He gonna make sure it's right here.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely a lot happening in the backdrop.
And
And
twirling.
there come the two baton tricks.
Hey. What?
All right. So we touched this a little bit last week, but
Okay.
it is a very serious thing. Y'all definitely let me know,
Okay.
what's your what you think? What we think? Especially with you being from there. So what do you
Right.
think? From the history to
I'm from
what your
Alexandria,
beliefs
but I am close to the city. Couple things. So one, from a cultural standpoint, so New Orleans has their like majorette wise and dance team wise, complete different at the complete bottom of the state versus a few miles up in Baton Rouge, and then as you start going up the state, New Orleans is probably one of the only places where like the majorettes are truly in front of the band. Like they lead the band. The dancers are usually in the back. The dancers are like in New Orleans. The dancers come behind the entire band.
Mhm.
So culturally,
Dallas
yes,
used to be the same.
yeah.
Dallas used to be the same. It
Oh,
changed.
really?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yes. In New Orleans, the dancers are behind the band. So the majorettes usually the majorettes, the drum majors, the band. The flags are even before. Like the dance teams in New Orleans. Go watch the parades. Most of the dance teams are at the back, the very very back. Um, so culture wise, like that is a New Orleans thing. Like the majorettes, you can see it's very traditional still with the palms on the boots and things like that. So I'm used to seeing it, so it's not such a culture shock. But I still again say that it's very underused. Like if you have two batons in your hand, like we could probably pull up some videos of somebody doing some stuff with two batons. Like I
Hmm.
feel like I saw a lot of stand routines with just holding the baton. Do you get what I'm saying? As opposed to
Hmm.
the batons actually working. And then I think the twirling in each other's faces with the two, I think that's super dangerous. I just feel like
I said that. I
I
said
Baby.
just
that
feel like
last week.
I just feel like that's too dangerous. But again, it's been a thing in New Orleans so long to where they're used to it. Like it's like they train to again. There's a technique to it. You get what I'm saying? It's not what we would prefer, but they do it because like that's how they practice. That's how they engage. Um, but I still, ooh, and I know New Orleans, like, ooh, the New Orleans are strong. So they probably gonna get me on this. But I still don't see that as like twirling. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, um, I'm not gonna lie, like I haven't worked with her a lot. But I definitely feel like when it comes to teaching twirling, Kiana Lynn definitely teaches like twirl. Like I got to judge the Roland Parish Battle of the Bands um, last January, and socks twirlers, like their twirlers, like they actually like was doing stuff, like they was twirling and turning and catching and doing. You get what I'm saying? Like it was really like twirling. So when I look for majorettes, I really look to see them really, really, like really be able to twirl. Also, too, if all of them are not twirling like really, really fierce, then like why do we have so many? Like, I'm down with like, 3 to 5, and I feel like they should be able to do it all. They should twirl the regular baton, the fire, the swords, like it should, like they should be able to get on the field. And don't some of them use like the ball and they roll the ball down the back and the ribbons.
A
And
lot
like,
of it is liability. I know for Dallas. I know for the Dallas in the state of Texas. Well, for Dallas for sure, and a lot of Texas schools, it's the liability. They don't. They won't let you twirl fire or blaze because of liability. If somebody gets injured. Even though there are classes, there are camps that teach you how to do it properly. It's the liability. They don't want to take the liability.
So there are certain things that I think that all little girls should know how to do, and I think that there are toys that every little girl should have. And this may be just the traditional in me, and just the even though I'm such a non-binary person, but I think that all little girls should know how to hula hoop, and all little girls should know how to twirl a baton. I think like if I had a daughter, there would be 2 toys that she would have no choice of having. She would get a hula hoop and she would get a baton. And you know what I'm saying? Because it's just, I don't know. I just feel like twirling is just something that little girls should know how to do.
We have another clip we're gonna go to, but y'all gonna got the twirlers are in.
Okay, they coming through.
The twirlers are in the chat and they are ready. All right,
I can't see them.
It's because I have to put them up here. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Put them up. But yeah, they are in the chat and they are definitely.
Oh, Kiana's in there. I didn't know she was in there. Yeah, I love Kiana. I wasn't saying that because, I didn't even know Kiana was watching, but like she really does. Like if I have anybody twirl wise, or if anybody asks me for twirling, I would definitely call Kiana for sure.
All right, I am the mother. Normal cliff twirlers. Normal cliff twirl. Okay, maybe that went over my head. I don't know if I read it, if I'm understanding that correctly. All right, we have another clip of some twirlers. And so I'm going to go. This is an older clip. Now this one's going to take us back a little bit. All right, so here we go.
I love them boots.
They are Madonna. Oops, my bad.
And I will say, growing up, this is what majorettes looked like to me, except that it was one of but the shiny, full sequin leotard. I love Alabama Crimson Tides. I love their majorette. Their twirlers costume.
I do like seeing twirlers twirl the little baton flags. I think that's really cute. I think it's a great way to add a color guard kind of movement in there too.
I didn't even know it was a baton flag.
I didn't.
Yeah. New Orleans twirlers do it the most. You see that more common with New Orleans twirlers, but they do have them. And of course, some of the core style bands use them, but it's very cute because they can twirl them like batons, but it just creates another color guard moment. That was the end of that clip. So I just wanted to show that one. I'm going to go back to back in this next clip. This one is a collegiate team. Now we're going to go collegiate now. And I used Hampton University because they're one of the few college teams that have them. So I wanted to kind of go here real quick and talk about our level 12.
Tom is in the building.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see? Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Front walk over and twirling it.
Oh, they got guest twirlers. High school, maybe.
Yes.
That's right. Yes. This.
They got leaps, spins.
Yes.
Yeah. Pointy toes, baby.
And they actually featuring their twirlers, which is always amazing. They got a full up front and not behind the band.
Or in the formation with them walking.
Oh, this is
Right.
really good.
Hey.
Oh, this is good. Yeah.
They doing elbow rolls.
Oh, this is good.
Come on. She got some good elbow rolls, wrist rolls.
So my thing is like when you can do all of this, like I don't, yeah.
She better.
Wow. Yeah, this is how you supposed to
Yeah,
go.
fishtails.
Yes.
She doing behind the back tosses.
That's how you twirl the baton.
You better smile too, girl.
Oh, wow.
That was great.
That was entertaining. You want to know my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
We can watch it again.
Oh, okay. The mother of Oak Cliff twirlers. Gotcha. I'm sorry. The true Dallas twirl OG. Yes. Come on. You said thank you for all the compliments. And yes, Tanya Jackson Gasway is our OG mother in the house of Dallas twirl. Okay. Come on, Tanya. Look, we got legends in the chat. So they look like what's the flag, that twirl flag line, like Winston-Salem flag line. Okay, let's see. Absolutely love Hampton is on it. Hampton is very good. She said true major
I
race.
was like, yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like that, so and even as a dancer and as a dance coach, with a team like that, like how could I feel like, you know how people always feel like this team, you know, my girls are the second rate or my girls didn't make this. Them girls don't want to be dancers. They twirl batons so proficiently that it would be a disservice to have them on a dance team. Like with what you could do with a baton, like you get what I'm saying. So like it's no competition. Like Hampton need to do a camp.
They
need to do another big camp.
And they actually keep a team too. That was 2 there, but they usually have about 4 to 6 members on their team. They keep an actual twirl team.
Like, that's what I mean, like really maximizing your value. Like that's something that, again, I'm sure the dancers they can't do that.
Yeah, they have 2 different styles, and they uniquely feature both teams. And I love the fact that they give their twirl team there a lot of light. Kiana said the girl from TSU taught the camp, Kimani is coming back. And Kimani is great. I didn't want to go there because it like favoritism to the ocean here, to the ocean. I went Hampton on purpose because I didn't want to give too much favor to all right. So real quick, I know we're wrapping up. We're about to get out of here. We got a couple of flag videos. We just want to bring in the color guard, and just because we're just still, having this conversation about the forgotten ones. We want y'all to see there's a lot of skill and technique in what they do. So we'll start high school, and then we'll work. We got 1 high school video, and then we got 2 college video. Wait, no. I'm sorry. We got 2 college videos, not high school. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. We've got 2 college videos, and then that'll be it. We're just wrapping up our conversation here. Thank you, Terrence, again, for all your insights. You have really come through tonight and dropped so many nuggets and gems, y'all. I know people need to have this on replay. I'm definitely going to be clipping this up and putting all these different gems you put out this week, because you definitely have you have filled a cup tonight.
I'm so glad to be here, and again, thank y'all so much for having this platform. Definitely continue it, and I definitely want to support as much as I can. So thank y'all. I'm honored for sure.
Thank you. All right, here's our next video, real quick, before we let Terrence go.
Oh my God, it's DJ Song.
And this is Miles. Okay. This is Miles. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And as y'all can tell, this was filmed during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So is this what you mean by stand motions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
like
do
I just
just
feel
switch
like,
flags.
yeah, I just so I'm not taking away from what they're doing. Like I'm not taking away that it's not choreographed, is not clean. Like all those things are true. All right. I think this goes to the conversation of they're not maximizing what this performance could have been. They haven't changed formations. They ain't did like no real tosses with the flags.
Yeah.
So the switch that they did was just to pick up the smaller flag to start, you know,
That's
doing counts again. Even the stuff that they was doing, it was just kind of like counts like a step in, like a mark time almost.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, like I wanted to see the flags toss some more. I wanted to see them in the air. And I think that again, with marketing our flag teams, we also got to look at what makes it work for them. Like I feel like that should have been an area view, like go in the stands and like view it from the top and like make formations, and do things like that. So again, it was very clean. It was very, together, like all of it together. But I think, I'm probably going, I don't want to be that harsh, but I definitely think it was like almost like high school JV team. Like I don't even think a varsity high school team, because I've seen some good color guards on some, on the varsity level, especially those ones that do like winter guard and stuff. So I feel like that routine, and that maybe could just be my experience. So I'm not critiquing the team and saying like they were bad. So I don't want nobody to see in this video say that I said the mouse flags were bad. That routine was good. It was clean. But I'm saying in the context of evolving how we look at our flags, that right there just looked like flags doing stand routines. And so when you compare that to the dancers, then it's going to always be the conversation of these were the girls that didn't make it, or these were the girls that did, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to really creating their own lane that made me sit up and be like, oh, wow, like those Hampton girls, outside of the dance skills that they did, it was nothing with the baton that they did that I could do.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That flag routine, I could have did that flag routine.
So
anybody else that was watching it could have did it.
They didn't challenge. They didn't push the button to make sure you could understand the skill level of what they had. They kept it really safe. And I understand it was COVID, so we don't know what the practicing conditions. We know COVID is really a strange period of time. But
that flag could have tossed in the air.
It could have left their hands, even if it was just a simple prayer toss. That's an easy toss.
But it could. See, like you speaking language that I don't even know. But again, though, as a person that's watching it, I know, going back to what I said, how do I coach? I know what I'm looking for. I ain't no fool. Like I know that flag needs to go in the air. Like I've seen them toss it where it like rotate in the air. So not like just throw it up. Like when you toss it, it should be rotating.
A silk toss.
Right? That's what's called what?
It's a silk toss. You can do a whip silk toss.
And it keep turning. Like that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's a technique to it, but yeah. All right, we got one last video. One last video. I'm gonna bring the Hampton flags in because we got to see an auxiliary that works and see how their ensemble works together. So here is the Hampton flag. Same show.
They already in a formation.
The flags on the ground. You can already tell it's gonna be some foolery.
See, they dancing right now too, though. And I also feel like for flags, it don't have to be on this. You see, like their choreography is on the.
Right. It could be faster.
You know what I'm saying? Like it could be moving. Like they should be get
Yeah.
like make the song like almost like the director.
Mhm.
See?
I would have loved to see some formation changes as they were doing this. I think it
Yeah,
would have brought more life to the movements.
they dancing to y'all. This is. I think again when we say like why things are like lost. Like this is why the band directors won't. That's why that conversation gets hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just did two lines. Well, no, because I don't want to eat this up because this stuff is being recorded.
I think this was like their high school day or band day. So I don't think, I don't think it was performance, but the twirler still came out and showed that.
Now the coach in me says that anything where there's gonna be cameras like this.
Was a
I'll find
performance,
it.
right?
The band director be telling me, he be like, "Hey, coach, we got this little performance for the school, but it ain't there. We don't need that many girls." I say, "Oh no, people got cell phones, so if it's a performance,
Smash
it's a
Time is in the
performance."
building. He said it was their high school day. Be nice.
You know. Oh, I definitely am. Like
This
I
is
definitely
Smash
am.
Time.
Definitely
This is
not.
Smash Time.
I'm definitely not critiquing. No, I'm just really speaking to how we elevate that space. So I want to be clear, y'all. The girls look great. You know, everybody looks great. But if we're talking about like how do we elevate the idea of our flags and our twirlers to where we're not forgetting about them, then we got to do memorable stuff.
Right.
Right.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that I know you that was the last video?
People gonna think I'm being mean. Oh my god.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Justin was the videographer, so of course he's gonna defend.
Yeah.
Because he was the
And
videographer. He was
then
there.
you did
And it was
say
fun.
like the way you're talking, you're not being horrible. So, but do you think that you could pull up a video of, you know, a flag line doing the other style, the other way?
You talking about me?
Like the
Yes.
DCI.
Yes. Like I would like, cause I know I was on Instagram scrolling and I seen someone dancing. I saw them dancing with the flag. I was like, oh wait, it was new to me. So are you able to find something?
Oh, baby, you ain't said nothing but a word.
Because I don't think people understand like what you're saying.
What I'm saying, yeah, because I'm definitely not being, and I'm not trying to be comparative to. I'm just saying, like, if we really want that to be memorable on this side, then we can't take what the dancers are already noted for and put a flag or a baton to it and say, okay, this is us, because it's like, no, it's just dance with a flag.
And evolution is everything, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying like they. No, I don't take away from nobody's hard work.
Right.
You know, they had to work on it. They had to practice that.
All right. Here, I'll put this up. We'll watch a quick clip of it. This is from Winter Guard recently. They just had it, and they're still having it, but this is Winter Guard, so this is going to be very current. I have some videos of my favorite flag line that's dancing. Well, Justin, you know, you can submit the videos. We can definitely add it to our copies. We won't get to it tonight, but we can get to it another day. Let's see. So I honestly feel like flags can dance. They can.
Absolutely, yeah.
We can. We want to see it. But we want to see them actually use movement, not stand. That's what we're saying. Not stand movements, but
absolutely
dance
yeah,
movements.
Sure.
I totally understand being a twirl and flag coach. Look, okay, here we go. Here's the video. I don't want to hold Terrence hostage, so this is gonna be our last one, and then we're gonna let him leave. But if y'all want to continue the conversation, you can. All right. This is a Winter Guard performance, so this is just flags. Okay, this is just flags. And you'll get to see it a little bit more here because this is their element.
Oh, my head.
And see, again, cultural opportunities, right? Look, when you look at this audience, look at how many people are there supporting this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And this
like,
is just
we don't give this much to like our flags and our flag teams.
WGI Sport of the Arts is proud to present and Winter Guard.
That was a really pretty release. The visuals are really good.
Do they already have
Yeah.
their flags? Or
So there you have props throughout, all the way. It's props throughout. There's props behind things. These type of shows, everything's it's a show. The production value is very high. I mean, you're doing things theatrical, almost as if you were going to Broadway. Everything's
how
theatrical.
they moving
So
though?
you can see what this little girl right here is just doing with this flag. Even the one
Mhm.
that has the one.
Mhm. So you see, she's using a lot of dance techniques, but she's still executing.
Imagine if our flag teams were doing stuff like that, like on the field. You see what I'm saying?
Can't tell us nothing now. So
So that and that's what we were saying last week. You can dance with
You
apparatus.
can dance with all of that in your hands. It's
Mhm.
not that's not stand routine.
She's pushing the envelope, so she still has the dance technique basics, but she's also using the flag technique to help tell the story.
beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna stop it in just
Now
a
they
second.
got rifles
See
and
this.
stuff. Look at that. Like what if our flag teams were doing like rifles and changing props and look at them in the back.
And
Our teams don't look like that. That's what I'm saying. Like that would really enhance halftime.
All right, I'm gonna stop it in just
That
a
kind of stuff would really
second.
enhance halftime.
This is telling a story, taking the music and putting a story to it, so that the crowd can be entertained fully and engaged. Meant the placement, everything to tell the story.
Look how they talks and everything though.
for real.
It's like in the air.
It's a lot of choreography going on.
I feel like that would be like those. I feel like those are the type of things that would really enhance halftime. And I feel like that's where like the North Carolina A&Ts and things like that are.
Right. And you're not saying change, just evolve.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Let's see. She said, "Don't have to spin according to a count. They can be as theatrical as they choose to be." Very true. I got to start watching Winter Guard. Man, Winter Guard is amazing. Kiana, it's like DCI with no band. It's amazing. And then everything, the floor mats, everything is custom, but it's a lot of money. But it's custom. They take it. You say yes. All right, y'all. We're gonna let Terrence go. We've held him hostage for almost 2.5 hours, but we're gonna. If you want to come on and give your feedback, if they want to give anything, definitely feel free to join us. Terrence, thank you so much.
Thank you. And y'all gotta have me back again, especially when y'all become big names. When it's like big and popping and everybody trying to fight for a spot. Don't forget about me.
Yes, thank you so much, Terrence. We're gonna drop you down so you can leave. But if anybody wants to weigh in on some of the topics, I'm gonna put the link out here so that you can join us real quick. I'm gonna give a couple of minutes before we close out. We definitely want to get off here by 10. We're gonna do the 3-hour production. Again, I'm sorry. Look, the conversations be conversating, okay? The conversations. I dropped the links in, so you should see them on the platforms, your chosen platform, StreamYard. You'll just click the link and join and follow directions. But in Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, that's in there. If anybody wants to come and join, give any feedback, weigh in on screen with us, their comments and what they thought, let us know. We would love to have you in. We have talked about so much. We can just go back. We definitely talked about Terrence and who he was from his high school, his dance career, his collegiate career. I mean, so many nuggets he dropped, so many statements in one line. I didn't know he was a one-liner king like that. The one-liners he gives, I mean, amazing. We talked about mainstream versus community dance again. So we brought that topic back so that he could weigh in because we needed his opinion. Okay. We definitely talked about technique versus non-technique. And I think I was very shocked about some of the things he said because I just knew he was going to err on the side of technique.
Right.
Honestly,
I really appreciate him giving his take because hearing it come from his mouth, knowing that he's not even favorable of all of the styles that we are, the majorette and stuff like that, hearing him say the things that we say,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, confirmation in itself.
Yeah.
So
And you're talking about somebody who's on
I
the
really
classical
appreciated
side.
that.
So that was really amazing. We brought up the male coaches. And I mean, dropped so many gems, man. I have to go back and rethink about how I've been thinking about things. So he definitely brought up the male coaches. I mean, I definitely believe there was gems dropped. Lastly, don't forget, he talked to us about the forgotten auxiliary, twirlers and flags. We got to see a little bit of that. We didn't get to spend a lot of time, but we definitely saw some good clips and videos tonight of just strictly twirlers and flags. We didn't want to put too much dance stuff up tonight because we did that the last show. So we want to mix it up a little bit. And don't forget, you can follow him and support him at www.tmjschoolofdance.com. He definitely has more. Follow his social media. I'm sure you can get all his social media through his website, where he'll be posting classes and training and all the things that he's doing, y'all. He's definitely, bringing up the dance world from the classical aspect. He's definitely dabbled in the high school area as well as taking it to the collegiate area now. So, I mean, you're talking about somebody who's fully versatile and definitely has a lot to offer. Quay, oh my God, it has been a show tonight.
Okay.
It has been a show.
I enjoyed the conversation.
I mean,
honestly, I learned a lot hearing him talk. And not even just from the topics, just learning how to be a coach, a better coach, and learning not to basically say so much. You don't have to say or prove anything. So I feel like he was talking to me in a way, training my mind.
Look, I saw you taking your notes over there. I said, wait a minute. I saw the note taking, guys. We're gonna give you a couple more seconds if you want to come up and say anything. You don't even have to be on camera. You can show your voice and keep your camera off. I know it's late, so I know most of the people are headed or getting towards the bed, so y'all are not camera ready. But definitely, if you want to come on and share, let us know. We love it. Did you discuss how many twirling lines can be brought to HBCUs that don't currently offer them and what it will take to make it happen? Charlie, the show, we have not discussed that. I would love to bring that up in one of our future conversations, because I think there's a lot of schools that could benefit from that. I think there's a lot of schools that could definitely use twirling. I know some people are tradition heavy. They don't want to add that or bring it back. There are many schools that had twirlers and lost them. They replaced their twirl lines with dance lines. Now, that's the true tea. Mm-hmm. We were twirl heavy back in some of these days on a lot of these colleges, but as dance became the forefront, twirl became the back front. They didn't have enough space. They started getting in the way, and that's really what I hear a lot of band directors say, that the twirlers get in the way. There's just not enough space for everybody, so they chose dance over twirl.
Okay, well, we need to figure out how to make it work, because I think that would be beautiful. And a lot of the girls who are twirling in high school will have something to look forward to when they go to college.
I agree. Make sure, again, if you want to join the conversation, feel free. If you want to come up and give your question or any responses, you got a few minutes left before we get off. The StreamYard is up, so we'll have to make it brief. Okay, we're going to have to make it brief, not CP, but brief. But we would love to hear your voice and your topic and what you bring. We would love to, man. I don't even know if we have anything what we can bring. I mean, Terrence came in and
it's like he was taking everything.
He just yanked our edges. I mean, just yanked the edges.
This is what you want to say. I know what you want to say here.
Right. I mean, he just grabbed us by our hair. I mean, he was just he was probably wiping us across our head. I don't know what else we could bring. I mean, but I'm so glad this is what it's about, bringing people in from all perspectives. Let's hear. We don't have to agree on everything, but we're learning. There are nuggets we can get from each and every person that comes across our platform. And I think we have to keep doing that. I can't wait to see what the next show is going to bring. I definitely think we got some ideas of people we want to bring on for the show. Yeah. But I know y'all like, okay, y'all done brought on all these dance people. We had on community dance and mainstream dance, and now we're gonna head on the classical dance. Y'all like, where are the twirlers? Where are the flags? I know y'all, don't worry. We got y'all.
It's
We
coming.
got you. Don't worry. It's coming. We got you. We've been planning. So we just being strategic. We are being strategic. You said,
Yeah.
how do I come in? No video though. I already took my contacts off. You can go, you can come in to the thing. When you come in, it gives you the option to turn off your video. So you can turn your video off and leave your mic on. And that way you can come and share your thoughts. If you just click on the StreamYard app that's in the chat, I will post it there again, just in case you missed that post. But if you want to go in there and join the conversation, you can feel free to do so. I just posted on all those platforms. I'm not for sure if you're watching under Passion and Performance or if you're watching under my, I did reshare the Passion and Performance post, but make sure you're on a Passion Performance page. You should see it in the comments and you can click on it. Just turn the camera off. It gives you the option to do that and you can come on with your vocals only. All right.
We got about 2 minutes left, y'all.
Yes, it's been a long day. We love the show. Look, y'all. And this is the thing. Our first 2 shows have gone almost at the 3-hour mark, and we've planned our shows to be literally less than 2 hours.
Yeah,
it has not worked out that way.
An hour and 30 minutes, but
yeah, we have. But the conversations, it be so rich because I mean, we don't, it be rich, so we be doubling our time. We don't plan for these shows to be super long. About an hour and a half is what we planned. But the last
good because like some things need to be heard from different people, and so like I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate him. I appreciate Terrence. I appreciate Nico. I appreciate Fee because they give us different perspectives.
Yes, I agree. I totally wholeheartedly agree. I think we've been good. You said it blocked me. I'll come on next time. It shouldn't block you. Why would it block you? Okay, I don't know, Kiana, but that's fine. We can bring you on next time. So look, y'all, don't forget, it's been a good one. Invite your people. Invite your people. It's even okay to invite your dancers. Okay, this is a dance safe space as well. They may hear a curse word or two now. We can't control that, but the information given here will be great. Invite your dance parents. They need to hear it and they need to know it. He said, for the record, twirlers love the dancers and color guard. Yay!
Love y'all too.
Look, y'all know I'm all 3. I can't claim one. And I told people that it's weird because my dancers my girls just always ask me, hey, what do you like best? I said, I love dance in the stands and I love dancing parades. I love twirl on field. I love color guard on field show. I got a place for everything. I love twirling flag on the field show, and I like dance in the stands, and I like dancing, marching. It's just, I love it. I have a place for everything. So does the video save to go back and watch what was missed? Yes. You can catch the replay on Facebook. You can catch the replay on YouTube. You can catch the replay on Instagram, and all of them are going to be under Passion in Performance. Passion.
Make sure y'all follow and subscribe to keep up too, okay?
This is the owner of Passion in Performance right here. This is your owner, Passion in Performance right here. So make sure you follow Passion in Performance, okay? We definitely want to do that. You said, yes, you my new friend. look, I love all things auxiliary. And if you haven't, if you have to know me to understand it, but I know, look, I love all things auxiliary. That's why we are doing the State of the Auxiliary. We both are passionate about keeping the auxiliary alive and leveling up our auxiliary. It's just the reality. I really would love to see dance teams be on the field the full time, like NCAT. I think there's a place for them. Jackson actually did it. One of the last shows they did of the season. I don't remember what show it was, but Jackson did it. We'll talk about it. Maybe I'll put it on the next show. But Jackson did it. And the dancers did a whole part of the field show at the beginning before they even did their routine. And I thought it was really good. It was very entertaining because it gives you a chance to see them in a different light outside of the feature. That's just my thing. And motion.
Yeah.
For years, when I saw your face, Motion of the Ocean, for years, have come across that field.
You better.
And they have kicked and done their entrance and all the things. So we definitely love that. You said, again, another great show. Thank you so much, Shelway. We appreciate you. All right, guys, we're about to wrap up after about 5 episodes. May need to have this in person. I'd love to come. You want like a studio audience? Look, that's
Mhm.
that's some big money. We got to get set up for a studio.
We're gonna manifest that, okay?
We gonna manifest it though. We receive it, Charlie the Show. We
Mhm.
receive it, y'all. Thank y'all so much for another great episode of State of the Auxiliary. Thank you again to our special guest, Terrence Johnson of the TMJ Project. We thank you for all the things that you brought, the gems you dropped, the nuggets. Look, I feel like you drugged me to the altar tonight and just made me listen. Because look, we both were just like,
Didn't
oh, I think I shouted a couple of times over here. I think Kiana shouted in the chat. We was just some shouting people, wasn't we?
Okay.
So we appreciate everybody, y'all. Catch us again next Sunday. We will be here next Sunday at 7 p.m. again. Look, we trying to get these shows down to an hour and a half, but we can't control it. But we want the conversation to be authentic and we want it to be heard. So we don't want to rush the process. But we try not to keep 3-hour shows, y'all. That's not the goal. But we know we trying to get into the things. All right. We love y'all. Quay, you want to give us anything goodbye?
We love y'all. Thank y'all for coming on. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. We appreciate it. And
yes.
keep supporting us, okay?
And don't forget, y'all, we have our camp coming up soon. We can definitely go out and say it. The flyer will be coming out in about a week. We have the Auxiliary, the Collegiate Way Camp, making a return to the stage this year, bigger and better. We can't wait to put out the announcement. And I think I'm going to let y'all watch that clip again of Auxiliary Collegiate Way on the way out of here. Quay, it's been awesome. High five virtually. We have done it again. Y'all come back next week for State of the Auxiliary episode 3.
Bye, y'all.
Four, three.